Happy Monday, everybody. Happy Monday. It's Collider Live. I hope everybody's doing wonderful. Everybody's doing great. Everyone had a wonderful weekend. And we are back here in studio. Hello, Roxy Striar. How you doing?
Hi, Kristian
It's nice to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Brett Sheridan. How are you? Look at you, buddy. You had a bender or just
what's going on, dude?
A little bit of both. The kids stayed at grandparents, so the wife and I went on a little pub crawl, kind of a date
That's
night
fun.
last night around over in Westchester area where we live, and
the body doesn't hold up, does it?
No.
Listen, I went to a pool yesterday with the kids and my wife, and we got some food by the pool, and I had 2 Bloody Marys. Was out on the couch the second I got home, and I could not move, and I had to go get like a tank of gas to grill it, and my wife might as well have been trying to scrape a dead whale off of the beach.
yeah, we by no means like turned it up or anything, but it's just.
No.
And then I left my phone home today,
But the Bloody
and I
Mary
managed
was
to get here
delicious.
though, Roxy.
You made it.
You really, seriously?
Legit left my phone, and I've got the lose it all, with it's the wallet and the phone and everything. So I have no money. And I'm supposed to meet Ellis after this.
I know.
To do some art. He's listening.
First of all,
so.
I have money and you can have it.
Oh,
And
Thank you.
See?
It's
very
worth
nice.
the ride home that you gave me once or to the airport. And second of all, you really got here. You didn't stop or pull over at all. I mean that honestly.
No. Yeah. Christian
done it.
gave me a route one time, and I stopped using the navigation.
It's an easy route, especially today because of the holiday.
Yeah,
It was easy to get here.
But what if there
It's a
had been
holiday?
roadblock?
Cesar Chavez.
Oh.
Yeah.
that.
My kid is-
April Fools?
No, it's Cesar Chavez Day. It's my
I
kid's
know
off.
it very
My kid
well.
is
Off for school?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool.
Reilly,
Hi.
guess what I watched last night?
Not the thing.
You sure?
What do you think I watched?
Hold on.
1982's The Thing. Watched it with the wife.
Wow.
What?
Sold it
What?
on her, and it was absolutely one. Look, Keith David.
Are you
steals
serious?
the show? No, April Fool's Day, motherfucker! Thank you. Come on, I got you. Come on. That was good. Come on, I got you.
I just said April Fools too. I
know.
forgot already.
Got you, Reilly. Come on.
Riley's just throwing the
know.
same piece
Come
of
on.
paper over
Come on.
and over.
Come on. I hope I got everybody else too.
You did get me.
You did.
Good.
That was good.
Thank you so
You should
much.
be an actor.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
But yes,
Nobody
no, I
in
watched
here
it.
watches The Walking Dead.
Not anymore.
No,
Oh
not
my
anymore.
God, it was the best season ever.
I heard it was pretty
Really?
good. It was
Yeah,
I heard it was
the
I
finale
know.
was
I heard
last
it got
night.
better and
Sad
and
moments.
I'm bad.
How was the
because-
finale? Tell me about the
Last
finale.
week's
Let's hear your review.
episode. Last week's episode was one of the best episodes
Sad, I
of The
heard.
Walking
Really
Dead
sad.
I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was really, really sad. If you think they've gone there before, they went there tenfold. And then this week was not as good as last week, but it was still it put a nice wrap on the season. It
Right.
got me so excited for next season. I wish people who fell off would come back on because you don't need to know what happened.
Norman Reedus running the crew now.
Kind of, but also not.
Right.
There's really nobody running the crew at
Just
this
everybody
point.
just doing their thing.
But there's just new blood and new life in there. The show is so good.
Did you ever think that it fell off?
I thought that it petered
out?
out a little bit.
But you never bailed.
Pitter patter, peter out.
You never bailed.
I never bailed, but I did for a little bit. Josh and I both were like, okay, we've seen. All right,
Yeah.
No, this baby is back with a vengeance. Oh my God! It's sad too because it's not going to get those fans back. It's just not. We're in season 10.
I was one of them.
I know.
I watched religiously.
So did I.
And I bailed. It was the same thing over and over again.
You need to watch last week's episode. It's so good. But then I wanted to talk to all my friends about it because
But nobody watches
and
anymore.
nobody watches.
Yeah.
Nobody's watching it. I was shocked because I took to Twitter.
Nobody
Very
cares.
little interaction.
Yeah.
I started calling nobody.
I've
just
heard
Josh.
that though. I've heard that it's gotten better for sure.
Oh, it's so good.
Well, that's good. I mean, good. What I did watch last night was, or was it 2 nights ago? Last night, my wife and I watched the live action Beauty and the Beast again because we could find nothing on and the streaming wasn't working, so it was on I don't know what channel it was on, but we
Why
watched
did I
it.
think you didn't like that?
That's Bibiani. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. And even watching it again last night made me realize how much I liked it. It's a good movie. But no, I watched Highwaymen.
Yeah.
Kevin Costner.
How is it?
Woody Harrelson. I dug it, man. I dug it because I know the story of Bonnie and Clyde very well. I remember. I don't know if you were with me, Brett. We were I don't know where it is, but as you're going to Vegas and you're driving to Vegas, there's somewhere random that the actual car is in.
Oh, really?
That they shot up. Yeah, and. Do you know the story of Bonnie and Clyde? Not the obvious story, but how they got taken out and
I
stuff?
guess I only know the obvious story, like the the non-detailed story.
Yeah, so I mean, if there were these young lunatic kids that were, if you've seen Natural Born Killers, that's really who they were based off of. And in the 20s, whenever they were running around, they were looked upon as like celebrities, but they were brutal murderers. They were shooting cops, they were robbing banks, but because of the time and because of the financial crises and stuff, they were looked upon as like the Robin Hoods. And there wasn't like national coverage the way there is today to get all the details. There's myth and legend, and because Bonnie and Clyde became celebrities, like when Bonnie was shot and killed, 20,000 people attended her funeral, and Clyde was like 15,000.
Jeez.
But this story was the story of the two Texas Rangers who, because the program was shut down, the Texas Ranger program was completely shut down, and they bring Woody Harrelson, who was like the most decorated Texas Ranger, not Woody Harrelson, Kevin Costner, most decorated Texas Ranger back, and then he recruits back his buddy, and they hunt him down, and it's just like cat and mouse.
Who's Bonnie and Clyde?
Bonnie, you hardly see them. I don't even know the actors.
So that's not the point of the story.
Not at all. The point of the story is these Texas Rangers who hunted them down, because what happens at the it's brutal. I remember. I mean, if you've seen the movie with Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway, or just the story in general, is that the way that it was one of Clyde's, and this is, I'm not going to take this as a spoiler. This is history.
Yeah.
So what had happened, if you don't want to know, you're going to watch the movie and you have no idea about Bonnie and Clyde, then shut this part off, because I'm going to talk about the history and what happened. They were getting away with all this shit. They tracked them down in Louisiana, and the Texas Rangers basically go to one of Clyde's crew members and his dad, who he was kind of staying with, and Clyde had bought this guy a house, but they basically said, we're going to let your boy live and we'll let him get out of here, but you got to set up Clyde for us. You got to set him up. So they set him up, and the father basically breaks down his car on the side of the road, and I think the Texas Rangers and then two cops together, like, there was a total of like 5 of them, right, camped out in the bushes. And so Bonnie and Clyde pull up they go to help, and then the Texas Rangers unload on the truck. Just fire. I mean, each one of them was shot like 45 or 50 times or whatever it was too. But it was just so sick to do. When Clyde was dead, people were trying to break in and cut off his trigger finger for a souvenir. It's like, this is how it was crazy, but it was a fascinating story. I liked it. It's such a Kevin Costner role. I mean, it's such a Kevin Costner role. It's like, Untouchables and all this.
Where's the movie?
It's on Netflix.
Oh.
It's on Netflix, yeah, and it's good. I enjoyed it. My wife and I watched it. It took us 2 nights to watch it, but we watched it, and it was good. I liked it a lot. I thought that's another reason why it's the same old conversation that we've been having as far as a movie like this. No one's going to see it in the theaters, but it's a great place for like Woody Harrelson and Kevin Costner to get starring roles again and to shine.
Did you like it better than Triple Threat?
Yes. I did. I thought it was more layered than Triple Threat, and I'm fascinated with that story, and I was fascinated with just it's just such a psychological look at how we look at people depending on like what the media was then and how the media is today, and just like it mirrors like how people can be painted in a certain light. Like, these were brutal murderers, psychopaths. Like, at one point, Kevin Costner says, because he's talking to this kid who knew Bonnie and Clyde and was going to help them, but the kid's still talking about them like, oh, these high school kids I went with. He's like, the person is gone. They are not human anymore.
Yeah.
Like, when he said they're not human anymore, it hit me. I was like, yeah, they're just complete evil.
I mean, very different, but history seems to do that. Look at like Christopher Columbus. If he was here today, people would be like, this guy is a horrible, horrible man who is like taking over people's homes and kicking them out. But we had a whole day to celebrate him for like years and years.
He's the guy who established.
Well, he found America.
Right.
But with the media now, like, you don't let people get away with doing things like that, with murdering people, being a mass murderer or conqueror.
Right.
We're just like, no.
Well, I mean, you go back in history in general too. Like, same thing with like to what extent the Romans did it, or Alexander the Great. There's so much things that this times are just completely so different now. But just watching that, I mean, this is only like almost 100 years ago. But watching it was fascinating, because the Bonnie and Clyde story has always been something that has interested me. When I was working for Joel Silver, and it was right after, this was like 2005. And The Notebook had just come out, like, I guess a year beforehand. And Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams were a couple, but they were hot. And I remember pitching, I want a Bonnie and Clyde movie with those two. And Warner Brothers owned the rights, and I was trying so hard to push it forward. And I had just started, and they were just like, "No, we don't want to do that." And I'm like, "Damn it!"
Why? Why didn't they want to do that?
I don't know. They didn't want to do. I mean, who knows? Who we could have gotten some. We had some good writers and possible directors that were like, "Let us know Warner Brothers wants to do that. We talk about it." And it was it. But it would have been interesting.
How did you get the job with him?
With Joe Silver, I was interning.
You did the Village Roadshow, right?
Yeah, so
I did that.
to go back in time, I was doing stand-up. That was my full-time thing. I went from stand-up to writing for the WWE to back to stand-up full-time, but I was with my ex-girlfriend, and she's like, "Are you just going to be doing stand-up all the time?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, this is what I want to do."
In the judgy way?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
This is the one that cheated on you?
yes.
Just checking.
Yes. Thank you so much for
You're welcome.
rubbing my
Checking all the
Happy
boxes.
Monday.
very sensitive pain. But yes, so but it was this whole you remember her. Anyway, so I was like, it did. But to her credit, though, it made me say, I do need another tool. I need another tool besides just a stand-up thing. So I called my friend Trevor, actually, who actually was the guy who negotiated my deal for WWE, who was married to Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Oh,
crazy.
and now it's full circle.
Full circle. So that's how I
AKA
met
Tiffany
Meghan.
Smith.
Correct.
Wow.
Yes, thank you, Owen. But anyway,
What a twist.
What a twist. But anyway, Trevor said, "Listen, I have a buddy over at Village Roadshow who they were like financiers who had done money for the Matrix, and they had to deal with Warner Brothers. And he's like, if you want, I'll hook you up with. You can go in to see if you want to intern." And I was like, I'm doing stand up. I'm not really working during the day, and why not? So I went in there and I met with my buddy, my good friend now, Fred Klein, who was over there. And Fred, he was a Yankee fan. He's like, look, it's a pretty extensive program. It's different than other internships. We really get people involved. You'll read scripts. You'll do this. You'll do that. And we try to get our interns jobs and stuff outside the business. I was like, great. So I was there for a bit. I got Reilly in there.
Yep.
I got some other people in there.
You were interning there also?
Yeah.
After I left, that's when
You
I
had
got
left,
in,
and then
yeah.
I interned for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, so
It was fun.
But when I was
Wow.
so from there, I went to work at Alcon Entertainment, and it was essentially the job that Finstock had for like 10 years. That was my job before I gave it to him. That was my job, and I was doing that. I was there all. I guess like it was maybe a year or so, and while I
That's
was
the one where you mostly like drove scripts to different people's houses.
that and like office
Yeah.
containment and all these things, and I was there, and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. I'm like, it's a gig. I'm making money, and I can still do stand up, but what am I doing here? And I saw
So you gave Reilly your old job as the intern, and then you gave Finstock your
my old job at
as...
Alcon. But so I got a email that said Joel Silver's company, two executives, Eric Olson, the guy who did The Dirt, and David Gambino, are looking for a shared assistant, right? Because it was Dark Castle and Silver Pictures were the two entities that Joel Silver had. It was a lot of work, and because you got to remember, people don't realize this. Production companies, if they're lucky, they make one movie a year, maybe one every 2 years, if they're lucky. Joel Silver was pumping out 3 movies to 4 movies a year with both companies.
Wow.
So there was different executives. Robert Downey Jr.'s wife is running the company. She was the vice president. There was her. There was Naveed McElhargy, Eric Olson, David Gambino, and much more. But that was the company. And they had the old Frank Sinatra office, and it was huge. So I get this email that they were looking for an assistant. So I'm like, I'm not qualified for this thing. I wasn't. I was a runner, and I had written for the WWE, and I was like, but I got to try. I got to figure out how to do this. So my buddy Jesse, who was an intern at Village Roadshow, said, "Hey, I'll get your resume in there." So got the resume in there. I worked for a management company for a little bit answering phones, but I become friendly with the woman who I actually just had lunch with last week, Rachel Rothman. And so I was like, I'm going to put you as
Jew.
Yes.
Yeah.
I said I'm going to put you as a referral. So if they call you, so I went in there first of all, and I had a meeting with David and Ethan Irwin was there too, by the way. Yeah, Ethan. That's where I met Ethan. Ethan was he was a story editor.
I didn't even know you knew Ethan prior to Ethan. Well, I guess that's how he got
him in
involved with
there.
Schmodown.
Yeah, so Ethan,
That's how I knew him too.
Yeah.
That was through He-Man, which was later.
Right, but Ethan was a story editor there, a very young story editor. But anyway, so I get in there. I'm talking to David and Eric, and we're talking because Joel Silver had done some of my favorite movies with Lethal Weapon, The Matrix, Predator.
Predator.
Predator, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard. So we're just sitting there talking about all these movies and just bullshitting. And I'm like, all right, this is going pretty good. And then they're like, so what's your experience like? I'm like, I worked for a management company. I was taking phone calls all the time. I was bullshitting out of my ass as far as like what my type of experience was and how kind of on it I was. Because organized, I am not. But I said, oh man, I'm the most organized person, you know. And I had to sell all of them. Like, yeah, I can handle it. Because like we get very busy. It's 2 people who can handle it. I'm like, I'll be able to do it. I'm good in a room. So and then they call Rachel, and Rachel just sells it for me. She sells it for me. Oh, he can do this. He's the best I've ever seen.
But why?
She's my friend.
Wasn't she nervous that you were going to botch it?
No, because for her, her business wouldn't be affected either way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she'd be fine. But she knew I'd be able to handle it. And so I got in there, I sold it again, went in for 3 different interviews, and then I got it, and I got the gig. And it was like they knew really quick that, oh, he was lying. But
Really?
but my personality, and I still learned it. I picked it up, but it was like, but dropping phone calls. I think the first time I misscheduled Tyler Perry supposed to come in, and like they're like, oh, this was supposed to be canceled. I go, I did, and I did not. And he's showing up in the lot. Like, why is Tyler Perry in the
That's the moment
waiting
your
room
heart
right
just
now?
like stops.
Yeah, but it was great. The first day was that because the Hayes brothers who wrote The Conjuring, they've been on the Schmoes a handful of times, and I've told this story a couple times. But my first day, they had a meeting. They're buddies with Eric Olson. So then they wrote a couple things for him, and he's like, "Hey, bring these writers in. They're in the lobby." So I walk into the lobby and I see them, and to me, they're not writers. They're the twins from my favorite movie, Rad, which is a movie in 1985. And I go, and I'm walking with them, and I go, I just got to say, you guys are in one of my favorite movies of all time. And they go, they're skeptical. They go, what? And I go, Rad. And they go, get the fuck out of here. and I've just been friends with them ever since. But that's kind of how I got the gig.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I
anyway.
didn't realize all the
There you go.
connections.
I mean, that's how.
The
that's
more you know.
That's true. I'm trying to think what else. There's this John Oliver thing that we are going to talk about for sure, but I want to talk about it with Ryan Satin because he's in a little bit, but for sure. There's some other things.
I have more stuff.
What do you have?
Well,
Tell me.
I listened to Thursday and Friday shows.
And. Oh no! Are we gonna go? We're gonna go deep.
We don't have to.
No, the only
boy.
I will get deep for a second here. I do want to get deep for one thing, and then we can move on.
April Fools?
No. I want to get deep on something because this is something, Reilly. I know that this is something that we've talked about before, but you didn't really get to chime in about it.
Yeah.
The ending to Splash is terrible.
You know, it really
It's terrible.
it doesn't work after the journey you go on with Madison and Tom Hanks' character.
It's a dick ending.
Yeah.
Because he jumps into the water.
Mm-hmm.
He leaves his whole family,
Yeah, his brother, John Candy, who was like really upset that he was leaving.
but he's got to live with fish.
And I mean, I know that
I
when
don't
he's
mind
with
it.
Madison and he can breathe underwater, but
Right.
he's in a suit.
But what if she has to go to work?
Right.
And he's fucked.
Yeah, then he's just hanging out.
He's done.
Women don't work.
Under the sea, they
Under
do.
the sea,
Yeah.
they
you
do.
know?
They roll. But you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
better for a
different
woman.
world
I get it.
out there.
I get it. He jumps into the water, and then they go into the sea, and he just
And
he
they
leaves
swim,
everybody.
But he's in a 3-piece suit.
Loses
He's wearing
job.
shoes, and it's like, you know, what do you do now? He takes the jacket off, but it's just, you know.
I legit woke up thinking about this. I was sleeping, and I said, "That's a dumb ending." It's like he just left his whole family.
Just now, did you rewatch it or it just
No,
popped
it
in
just
your head?
popped in my head. I think someone mentioned it. I think because it was a question in the free for all. Maybe
was.
Lonnie had it or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute. He just jumps in the water, and he's floating around, and the Ron Howard ending of just the music of the. And it's like you don't see him. You don't see him ever. Like, why?
Well, then there was Splash 2, T-O-O. Do you remember that?
That didn't really
Recast.
happen.
Yes.
Did that really happen?
It really happened.
T-O-O?
T-O-O.
Like Teen Wolf TOO?
Yeah. And
Are you
I
sure?
believe
Bring that
yeah,
up.
bring it
Bring
up.
up Splash
Remember,
2.
I didn't
too.
know-
And I
Teen Wolf was a
believe
movie?
it's recast and they come back.
You're not lying.
I am not lying.
Why is it spelled
that-
T-O-O?
Splash.
See? Look at that.
Like Splash.
Bring
Look at
up,
that.
Bring up the trailer for Splash TOO.
Schmodown.
Are you kidding me? That there was a Splash TOO?
Look,
Who
I
directed that
loved
movie?
Splash. So when
Wide
I heard this
release.
was coming.
Oh, it's a television.
yeah, it was television.
movie.
It was. It went right.
Oh, and in a television movie in 1988. Television
Oh,
was
awful.
not good in '88.
No.
Tell you that. TOO. Splash TOO.
Who's in it?
No
Yeah,
one
they
that's ever
recast
worked
it,
ever again.
and
No one.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh, so they come back.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Let's see the trailer for Splash TOO. This is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
God, I
must
haven't
have been
seen
so
this in years.
disappointed when you've seen this. I didn't even hear about this. Look, okay. So see, they were swimming with the fish.
What's going
What
on?
happened? Did we lose it? Maybe YouTube's being nice to us. Oh, Gio Bajonio directed this or edited this. That's good.
Love how it's like Baywatch now.
Oh yeah, there they are. And now at least he doesn't not in a suit anymore. He's not in a suit anymore. He's in a tank top and boxer
Not a
shorts.
very good swimmer though.
No. Oh, he's swimming with the dolphins. But look, this is a shit life.
He's pretty happy looking.
Of course he is for a little bit.
Well, you know, they
Oh,
get out of the water.
Look
There
at
it
this. Yeah, this is ridiculous.
She
Who's that?
is a very attractive woman.
Oh wait, you know her? I know her.
He
She's
can't
been in
fix
stuff.
anything.
She's been in stuff. Who is that? Oh, I don't remember.
I don't know, but she's
Yeah, I don't know.
stunning.
I don't know. But anyways, this is a travesty. It looks like a porn version of Splash.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But anyway, the ending's shit on Splash.
Oh, wow.
It's not good.
At least the music was good in that trailer.
No.
No, it wasn't good. But anyway, these type of things don't. Amy
story,
Aspect.
Mark?
That's who. Amy Aspect. That's who it was. She's been
Yeah.
in a lot of stuff. Now Donovan
She's a
Scott.
brunette.
Yeah.
How'd she do that?
I don't know. What else is going on?
Movie magic.
We had I do want to talk about some free for all spoilers now.
Okay.
So people can if you haven't watched it, then you should tune in on this one too. But it's got almost 80,000 views on both parts, which is great. People are really commenting, and the standout performances were definitely the Beast, William Bibbiani, and the Kid.
I love
What are you
him.
doing over there? You
I love
checking
him.
on our guest?
It's our guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of things about that. Number one, as much as I don't tend to root for Bibbiani because he is just such a beast.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard. He's a hard person to get behind because he just knows everything.
Right.
And so it's not
Snobbish sometimes.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little snobbish. I like him a lot, but he's
As a player,
just when he's
yeah.
up there, I'm not like, you go get him, kid. It's like, all right, he's gonna. But by the end, I was 1,000% rooting
Crush.
for him. You can't not. When you have a performance like that, if you're able to do what he did,
Yeah.
anybody who's rooting against him is just bitter.
Yeah.
It's so.
It was Ric Flair '92.
baller.
It was crazy because the thing everybody was rooting for him, and it's funny because I've heard that from. I pay attention to the fan base in general, and I've told him this. For some reason, I just can't get that team in wrestling terms is over him and critically acclaimed. I can't get him over. Like he's such a likable. He's a good guy. He's so helpful on everything too. He cares more about the game than anybody.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I can't get the fans to really root for him. There's a pocket, but.
I haven't put my finger on. Yeah.
But I believe that has switched once the free for all came because he was up there competing for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For 3.5
Amazing.
hours. I mean, everybody, whether you knew, you wanted to see.
And he stands.
Yeah.
The whole time.
Yeah, and you're right. So you're watching that because you didn't know. Well, if you saw in your performance, you didn't know any of the answers. But
Well, no, I threw it because I wanted Bibbiani to
Bibbiani
win.
won. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, I was
Otherwise,
I'm
you
like,
would've
It's
won.
nice of you.
I didn't want to embarrass
You
him or
didn't
anything.
have to throw it by that many questions.
No, you really have to throw it hard. If you want to tip your hat to somebody that's doing so
you don't
well.
want to be intimidated.
Yeah.
Did
so.
you tell Finstock to do the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
Did
That was
Finstock
nice
get a
of you
goose
guys.
egg also? Mm-hmm. Oh, he had a goose egg also. Pretty sure. Brett's
A big fat zero.
Yes.
And came behind the scenes, I will say, Finstock came running off afterwards.
Oh, this is funny,
And turns over to Dan and was like, Dan, how about that round that we had? Dan has no idea what he's talking about. He's like, those questions were ridiculous. And
Meanwhile, Dan
Dan
got all of them
4
right.
out of 5.
Yeah.
No idea what Finstock's even talking
like,
about.
huh?
It's like,
He said, "Come on, think about it. I mean, they could have asked a couple major questions."
He's always so funny. He's
Yeah.
always like, you know what? If I would have gotten that one,
Yeah,
that would
yeah.
have got me.
That
You know?
would've-
Then
that's
I
it.
would have been.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's
And I'm
one-
like, well, you didn't get that one.
easily one of the worst competitors we've ever seen.
I was killing it in the audience though.
Oh, when you
were.
when you walked up and they didn't expect you to come in because the Clyde live music hit and they thought it was you and they thought maybe it was Dorina and then when you showed up they did lose their minds.
Yeah,
for
it was
sure.
a great
good.
entrance.
It was
did.
very
It was
fun.
good. The kid
Kid was-
an
I
amazing
love him.
performance.
He's
Yeah.
so easy to root for.
Yeah, yeah.
See, that's you just wanted him to keep going.
Such a nice kid,
And
yeah.
his smile, and he was so proud of himself. And was like, talking about his previous performance, was like, I really just wanted to prove myself. I just
did.
wanted to prove that I can do it.
He
I
did,
was
and
like,
when you go back, it's funny because Frankie Numbers, who if you're not listening to the Schmodown Rundown, you should. It's available on the Movie Theory Schmodown podcast feed. But Frank had told me the most rounds ever. Bibbiani went 30 rounds. 30 rounds.
Jesus.
And then last year he went Bibiani,
Which was all the rounds.
it was all the rounds.
Yeah.
Well, including the sudden death. So and then Bibiani last year went like 22 or something like that. That's number 2 of all time, and I think number 3 is the Kid with 13 rounds. And then excuse me,
14
Ethan.
rounds was
Ethan went a bunch, and then the Kid, and then Dan from 2017.
No, what about shaggy hair?
Humphrey went 12.
Oh, I
And
thought he went 14.
He won MVP because he was just in there for a long time, not because of how many rounds he went, but he was in there for a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was really good. It was an exciting event. 550 people came out. You can watch it now if you want to check it out for the before. Even if you didn't see it, you're like, oh, I'm spoiled now. It's worth to see. How many times Bibiani almost went out?
Have you said who won, or are we not saying that?
I mean, you know, it's. I guess at this point it's a spoiler, but it's. We've been spoiling for a bit.
Just curious what you think that person's going to do.
Gonna do with the title shot. Yeah, I'll hold that one too. I mean, we just spoiled a lot of shit, but I'll hold that to let people know it as we keep building up to this thing, because we got April 13th, which is less than a week away. Everybody, or not a little over a week away, a little over a week away. But come this Saturday, coming up, Reilly, a week until you're 860 people.
It's gonna be so
860 people. Oh, and there are, by the way, they just opened up. I didn't just over the weekend. This happened. They added 3 more VIP seats. So they were all the VIP seats were sold out in a day and a half, but there are 3 more left. So if you go up there now to theschmodownlive.com, you can get it.
Yeah.
All right,
Do you guys know what you're going to wear?
I wear the same thing every time.
I do.
Really?
I know what I'm going to wear.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Have you guys coordinated?
It's the same thing that I wear all the time.
Have all 3 of you coordinated?
No, well, obviously, Snyder won't tell me what he's going to do.
Smart.
Because he says he can't tell anybody. You've said he can't
Jinxed
tell
it.
anybody anything, and I say I'm your manager. I don't count
That
in
was
that.
for free for all. I don't care what he did for April 13th.
It's just his thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Draco is very chill about the whole thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Very chill. So
That's dangerous.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
we still have a little bit of time to get our minds right and coordinate, but I know what I'm wearing.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
I was on the phone with Ben yesterday for about 2 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
That is true.
That's also
There it
dangerous.
is.
It's also true. All right, well, look, there's a lot going on, and there's
Just
something-
wondering what if you're on the phone with them for 2 hours.
We got a text
if they're
thing
on
going
the phone.
Snyder doesn't even know where he is right now. But what I will tell you, one of the big news. This is not April Fool's Day, because if it's funny, if it would have happened on April Fool's, no one would believe me. We talked about it. I don't know how, but I woke up in the morning yesterday, and both the Schmodown and my account are officially verified.
Yeah.
I don't know how it
Yeah,
happened.
Well
baby.
done.
Oh, good.
Thank you,
for
Kristian.
you.
I appreciate it.
That's from me. Yeah.
I look. I told you I didn't give a rat's fart about it until
Yeah, you did.
not to
you
where
did.
not to where it was
Business-wise,
I thought it
you
was
did.
business-wise. I did.
Business.
Yeah,
yes,
because I didn't,
and I get that.
because I didn't think it would ever happen. That's why. Not because I didn't want it, because I didn't. I was like, yeah, it's just not going to happen. So who do I follow? I'm going to unfollow that person. Unless it's Cody. I like Cody. Is that
Why?
Alex?
What are you
It's
talking
Alex.
about?
No, I'm going to unfollow Alex. I'm just kidding. But yeah, it was a thing that happens. So
It's a
thank you,
good
everybody.
ratio.
There was somebody made a very funny video of it, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they what did they do? They made a video of you talking about me and you just talking about in general if it's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and then once it did, I put that tweet out, and then did you see the video?
Yeah.
They
I didn't see
they
it.
added like all these moments in movie history, people cheering, and Leonardo DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street
That's
doing
great.
the dance, and it had the Ewok music behind it. I'd play the video, but we'd probably get flagged for it. So, but anyway, thank you to everybody with the nice tweets yesterday. It was nice to. It was nice to wake up to that stupid thing, because it's an ongoing 3-year battle that's finally over.
Jesus.
Yeah, what's going on, Reilly, with the news? Anything good?
Yeah, we got some good news. My
What do you got?
favorite is over the weekend.
What?
Did you hear about this?
What's
it was
that?
a
I don't
big
know.
announcement.
What is
Which
it?
is?
Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
He's the voice of Chucky.
Do you love this?
Of course, I love it.
Yeah.
Now, he's not. We don't know if he's Charlie Lee Ray
Charles Lee Ray.
Charles
Yeah.
Lee Ray, and because I think there's some right issues that Don Mancini has a TV show going, so I think the serial killer is going to be that. But we're getting a new voice. It's Mark Hamill. I'm pretty excited. I mean, you think he's done the Joker? Obviously, he's Luke Skywalker. He can do this.
Trickster.
It's
And
good.
Trickster,
It's
right?
good because it gets some more clout on the character that has become a little stale.
I think there was a lot of people looking at this thing going,
Yeah.
why do we need it? I think there was a lot of people, the update, it's like this, like an AI doll or like one of the like Siri meets a doll kind of
Is
thing.
that what it is?
Yeah, I don't know too much but it's like technologically advanced. It's like a nanny cam
Play
thing.
a little bit of Hamill's announcement. There it is. Let's see. Here's the announcement from Mark Hamill.
Hello, WonderCon. It's Mark Hamill here. And if you're wondering who's going to voice Chucky in the new Child's Play, you're looking at him. I can't wait to bring such an iconic character to life and present him in a way you've never seen him before. Child's Play this summer. We're going to have some fun. And remember, he's more than just a toy. He's your best friend.
Oh my God.
I love how creepy he can get.
I
Because
did
think-
not hear this.
He can
That's-
do it.
Because he's such a sweetheart, and like he can get so creepy. Whether you see it with the Joker and these other things. And I watched a little bit of that Nightfall thing last night.
Oh yeah, how is it?
I watched maybe 5 minutes of
Okay,
it, but,
so not good,
I
huh?
saw him, and he was. I literally just watched it for him.
Yeah.
And the show itself, I tuned in too late. I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. I
Yeah.
just got rid of it. But he's always good.
That stare that he does.
Yes, it's amazing. Yeah, I want to. That is. I'm gonna be honest. Like if that movie was coming out, the remake, I'm like, all right, fine, another Child's Play. But the fact that he's doing the voice now, I'm very curious to see the movie.
Great business move on their part. And I think you got to get somebody like Hamill to get the fan base now. Like me, as a horror guy, never got into Child's Play.
Oh, really?
I liked them. Yeah,
really?
they were fine.
First one I loved, actually.
First one I like. Second one I watched, and then that was it. I don't think I watched much of them after that, and it just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, okay.
First one's 31 years old.
Kristian, let me ask you this, because when I was listening to the show on, I think it was Thursday, you were talking about Angelina Jolie and not being that excited anymore when you hear any name talent being attached to a movie. It's just not what gets you to the theater.
It's true.
Is it different for you when it is one of your like icons and or when it's voiceover versus live action?
I think it's a mixture. That's a great question. I think it's a mixture of a couple different things. Absolutely, it's not one of these things like Mark Hamill's announced in a movie in general. I love Mark Hamill, but I'm not going, oh, I need to see it because Mark Hamill's in it. But yes, it has a lot to do with the voiceover. He is not underrated. I think the people who follow voiceover actors acknowledge him as like one of the best of all time. But a lot of people don't realize that are not following voiceover work that he's one of the best of all time. So for him to be able to voice this character on a character that I believe has just grown stale after a while, then I get more excited because I'll backtrack a little bit on those comments with movie stars because if, for example, The Crow. Crow is a movie I just don't want to see it be done. It's been cursed. It's over. They just shouldn't do it anymore. But that's not to say that if they can't cast someone that I go, all right, well, that's interesting. I'm interested now, and I think that's the same thing. I was not excited about a Child's Play movie, but I'm more interested now because I would like to see what he does and how he brings it. How he brings this perfect example is that Nightfall thing, right? I probably wouldn't have watched a single frame of that show, but he was in it, so I wanted to check it out and just see. So sometimes you can be interested in a movie because of the celebrity. I just don't necessarily think that always drives people to the theater the way it used to. Yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. What's next? Anything else?
Yeah. So
What's going on, man?
what? Yeah,
What else
I
is
do.
happening? Oh, because there was something that I said because I was inside of 4 different thoughts. Last time we did this, we got a lot of people talking when we put it on a separate piece out of the podcast channel. So we might do it again here, and maybe we'll do it at 11 o'clock because our guests come in at 11:30.
11:30.
Okay, so at 11 o'clock, the Collider.com, they did it again. They put up a list.
Oh no, I'm scared.
Oh boy.
This list this time was the top, I think, 20 or maybe more villains in the MCU. I looked at it. I agree with hardly any of it.
I haven't looked at it
Disagree
yet.
with all of it.
Disagree with most of it. It's one of those things. Again, I don't think Matt Goldberg did it this time. I think it was Adam Chitwood. But
Chitwood, yeah.
There's like the top
Did you do
5.
that on purpose?
What's that?
Where you call them shitwood?
No,
I'm
I
gonna
didn't
go
say
to the-
Chitwood. I said Chitwood. Chitwood. I didn't say Chitwood. I like Adam a lot. He's a good guy. But
Roll
Look
the
at the
tape.
top
I don't
5.
agree with any of his picks. But we'll go over it. We'll break that down a little later. But
This
it's
is already way too low.
Dude, I'm telling you, don't look at it yet. Don't look at it.
Okay.
We want your honest reactions.
late. He's looking.
Because
No,
when-
it could- yeah, it's fine.
just wait. Because I had some reactions when I was looking at it. I'm like, I'm like, you were just doing this to stir the pot. There's no way you think this. There's no way. I mean, maybe he does, but I there was some there is one that is ranked so high, and I'm like, you are clearly doing that to make people either scream at the computer or throw their computers out the window. Yes. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah,
I wonder who you're talking about.
Yeah, is there anything else going on?
Yeah, we've had a big box office weekend. Dumbo, though, opened lower than expected.
Yeah.
$45 million. They were looking for about 50.
It's not great.
Yeah.
The movie's not great.
All the comparisons. Pete's Dragon was 21.5. Alice Through the Looking Glass 26. Beat those.
Yeah.
But then
Pete's
your
Dragon,
Jungle Books,
though,
your Alice in Wonderlands,
Yeah.
and your Beauty and the Beast opened, considerably higher.
I don't think there was as much demand, regardless of what I think about the actual movie. I don't think there's as much demand for Dumbo as Alice in Wonderland, Beauty and the Beast, Jungle Book, even for future ones, Aladdin,
I agree.
Mulan. Dumbo just wasn't the one people were clamoring for.
Right,
yeah.
So it might not have as much to do with the movie. That being said, I don't think the buzz around the movie is helping.
Well, that's what it is, though. I think it's a bit of both. I think you're 100% correct in that it is not as much demand to say, if people are going, which one do I have to see? It's Aladdin. It's Lion King. I don't think Dumbo's even on that list. But if word of mouth, they're cracking themselves up. The word of mouth would have helped if it was better.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's they have to keep with the formula. Keep with the formula. And I know that Maleficent is, and even Alice in Wonderland are the anomaly, but keep with the formula. And Beauty and the Beast. Last time I was watching Cinderella. Take exactly what made it so special, and those movies were like go an hour and branch it off and make it 2 hours and add new things. Like the stuff they did with Beauty and the Beast when they added more stuff about Belle's mother and where she came from. Like it all worked into what was great about the original story. Dumbo was the original movie for 10 minutes and then a Tim Burton sequel. It's not a good movie.
That wasn't necessarily my problem with it even.
No?
Because I'm okay with the Alice in Wonderland Maleficent train where you take it and you make it your own if it's good. I liked both those movies. This, to me, I didn't dislike this movie, but it was overwhelmingly depressing.
Yeah.
It never was uplifting to me, and I didn't like the story
Yeah.
as much. So, but the crazier thing when I'm looking at this is that the Beach Bum made under $2 million.
Well, but the question is how many theaters was it in?
I don't know.
How many theaters? Like 6?
Let's see.
Yeah. It's probably-
1,000.
Yeah. 1,000 screens. So.
Still, I mean, you've got a McConaughey-led
Yeah.
film. Did you guys see this one yet?
No, I want to though.
It was 1,000 screens.
Wild
Yeah.
Child.
Well, I mean that's what Harmony Korine.
100%.
He's the
but
best.
even wilder than that.
Is it crazy?
I
want to see it.
don't
I liked
know.
your review. I know what you mean, and I think I want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it. But it's the lowest in McConaughey's career for a movie playing on 1,000 screens.
Yeah. I'm surprised, and I'm not saying that I think it's a great movie, but just I would think it would do better than that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, you look at this was the opening weekend. I guess Dumbo was number 1 at 45. Us continuing to kick ass now at 128
Captain Marvel
million.
still too.
Captain Marvel, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But Captain Marvel made 20 million, bringing its domestic to 353.
Captain Marvel's
million.
still making 20 million.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's more than the Beach Bum's gonna make.
It's true. That's also Avengers carryover too. Because people are getting ready for that movie. I saw a report, Reilly. Did you see this too? That they said that it's possible. It's possible that the Avengers could make $1 billion opening
did see
weekend.
that.
Can you imagine that?
No, I
worldwide?
really can't imagine that.
Wow.
I can't.
If
I
it
feel
does
like there's
that-
not enough people.
If it does it in opening weekend, then then it has to have a chance to beat Avatar, right?
Yes.
If it does $1 billion,
100%.
Yeah.
Do you think it will though? Because I don't think so.
It to me seems like such an unattainable goal these days for some reason, and because the reason Avatar was able to do it is because it came out in December, it had that magic moment, and it's very similar to Titanic. There was nothing else out, so you would just go back and see it for the spectacle, and then when you put movies out in the summer, like April.
But Avatar didn't make $1 billion opening weekend.
I gotta stop for a second.
When you put movies out in the summer like April.
What planet are you on right now?
I'm just.
You are. I know. You are silent and.
You were. I just
This
saw
whole
you.
There's
not
a person sitting next to me, but they're without a soul.
I
They're
haven't seen any of these. I'm tired. I don't have my phone. It's making me. I hate that I don't like not having my phone is freaking me out right now. I had so much that I needed to do correspondence wise, picking up my kids, meeting Ellis. Like
Do you
so,
want mine?
I'm just
I
in
have
this
Ellis's
weird.
number.
I'm in this weird
It's
zone.
like, it's like computer chip was taken out of your head, and it was like that scene in C-3PO.
It just
in
like
Empire
got
Strikes
here, and
Back.
I was like,
What am I looking at?
Do your thing.
no, there's nothing I can do right now.
Call your kids.
bullshit.
I think Frank
Call
the editor
Alice.
liked Dumbo. I saw him tweet something about that, and people were not reacting.
And I know. I feel
well
sometimes
to-
though he likes to just piss people off, and he says things. Frank likes to make people angry.
It works.
Yeah, it works. That's his shtick, and he does it with a kind of quiet smile on his
Yeah,
face.
there's something about
Because
him.
he's not aggressive at all.
No.
He'll say the opposite. It's like that Chitwood list.
Yeah.
He does it with a smile on his face, but knows it's going to piss you off.
Muhahaha.
Yeah. There's a report going around right now. Reilly just showed me. It's hard to take anything serious on April Fool's Day.
I know.
They said that possibly that the Joker would be in.
No, that's not
Which
it.
one?
No.
What the hell are you showing me?
I was showing you.
Possibly the Joker would be in what?
In
No,
Birds of
it
Prey.
was that was a April Fool's joke. I don't know. I guess my phone
What a
switched
twist.
it. Yeah.
Oh.
They
What?
said that the Joker,
Jared Leto.
Joaquin Phoenix,
Oh.
filmed a cameo in Birds of Prey to connect him to the
Oh, I
universe.
see.
Oh, but that was a lie.
And they said Warner Brothers announced it, and sure enough, I went down that rabbit
April
hole,
Fool's
and it was
Day.
April
Yeah.
Fool's.
Okay,
So
can
fuck
I?
you.
You know what I want to do? I want to call an audible too. I want to get Ryan Satin in here. Can we just, Alex? Can you get Satin? Give him a mic.
Why we can
'cause-
hear him from out here?
That's true. But I want
Start talking.
to talk to him about the John Oliver thing in general for
Yeah.
this people, because this is not just.
I want to be filled in because I only read a little bit about it.
And he's
Yeah.
saying there's breaking news.
He said there's breaking news with the WWE and John Oliver, so I want to hear that.
Not
but-
April Fools?
No, not April Fool's. So we're gonna bring Ryan Satin from Pro Wrestling Sheet in here to talk about it, because this thing was awesome what he did last night. I'm not a fan of John Oliver. I've just never been like a big fan. And so here's basically the breakdown of it. John Oliver on his show did a 20-minute kind of editorial on the WWE, and it wasn't like a Bill Maher thing. Like Bill, come on in, Ryan. You got a mic? They're gonna give you a mic. Just sit in the back there.
You want to pull that?
Yeah. So
You can take mine. I'm not using it today.
you know what? You're actually not wrong. Why don't you go sit on it? I love you to death, but you're terrible today. So why don't you
Go in the
on
corner,
Yeah,
you.
Let Ryan.
Do you-
Nice way to start your Monday.
While
you-
you're in the corner, do you
he'll
really
admit
want
it.
my phone?
No, it's
No. Yeah.
Sit in the corner. You've been unfunny today.
It's not unfunny. He
hasn't
literally
spoken.
he literally has just been in another universe at this point. I don't even know where he is. He doesn't know where he is. All right, listen. So I'm gonna break it down first, then we're gonna get Ryan's take on this thing too, because and
Well, I have some breaking news on it actually too.
let me set it up.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
give me
yeah.
the breaking news. So John Oliver basically yesterday did like a 22-minute editorial on the WWE, and when he started into it, because I don't know enough about John Oliver that I didn't know what take he was coming in, so I was a bit. My dukes were up as a wrestling fan to where I thought it was going to be a Bill Maher thing, where he's like, all right, here he goes. There's another guy who's just going to shit on wrestling, and because Bill Maher is the biggest douchebag on the
Yeah.
planet, and so when he comes in, even when he had the wrestlers on back in the day, he was trying to fight them. He was trying to, he's antagonistic the
And
whole
that's
time.
not even close to the worst thing that Bill
He's
Maher
just a
has
horrible
done.
human. He's a trash bag. But anyway, so I was curious if that's what John Oliver was going with this. And right off the bat, it was not that. He was throwing out references. It wasn't just like, oh, I respect what they're doing, but no, he was throwing out references of somebody who definitely watched wrestling throughout his career, and he likes it, and he was giving a lot of props to
Well,
things that
also
happened.
keep in mind he has a writing staff.
Either way,
It's
though.
not all Justin. Clearly, there's some sort of smark on the on his writing staff.
Yes, but the thing is, you can't. But I
Some
can
sort
also
of
tell
what?
you.
Smark, like a.
Yeah, they're playing.
It's a wrestling thing.
Is
but-
that like a mark?
It's like a smart mark. It's
There's
like a.
it's basically
Smart
someone
mark.
who knows their history that's
I
helping
know a
him
mark.
give
I
stuff.
just don't
It's
know
like a
smart
smart mark.
Okay.
But my point is, though, you can't. You might have a good writing staff, but you still have to be able to sell it.
Totally.
And you also have to be able to know what you're talking about, because I can tell you that if someone started giving me facts about Pokemon inside there, I know that Cody can write me all the things I need to say, but people are going to be able to say whether or not he doesn't know it that well. John Oliver knows his shit, and he's going through it and he's talking about it. But the main part of this whole thing was the fact, like, really calling Vince McMahon out and saying that Vince McMahon is horrible and has been horrible to his wrestlers. The fact that they are these independent contractors, which is crazy. They're not employees. They're independent contractors, and it's been like that for 30-some-odd years. I love the stuff that he showed, the footage of Jesse Ventura, like that one interview, and Vince slaps the
How long's the
notebook.
clip?
22 minutes.
Yeah.
It's 20. It's worth a watch. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to watch it, because what he's calling for is health insurance for these wrestlers, because there's a problem. There's a problem with these wrestlers. They're dying. They all die young.
Yeah.
Well, they don't all die young.
A lot of them die young. It broke my heart because Roddy Piper was a friend of mine. He was a close friend, and I had seen that clip of Roddy before, who was saying that I'm not going to live to 65, and he didn't. And they talked because there's just certain things that Vince does not include to these people, and I love the NFL when he's like, if NFL is doing it better than you have problems, But anyway, it was he encouraged the fans of WrestleMania. Which I thought was brilliant. At the end, where he's just like, I'm not saying say anything, but if you want to create signs and you want to do chants, maybe is the time to do it. It's a very abridged version of what I saw last night, but it caught fire. People were talking about it. What's the breaking news?
Oh, well, the breaking news is that WWE just invited John Oliver to WrestleMania.
Wow.
They want to teach him. They want to show him more about the company and give him a better outlook on how the current company is, because I do think, for me at least, I thought it was a great segment. I think the things that he talked about as it pertains to the independent contractor status are totally on the money. It is messed up for these people to be considered independent contractors. I think it's very silly that they have to follow all the rules of an employee, but they're not considered employees, so they don't get retirement pension. They don't get annual leave.
They're exclusive.
They don't get exactly. They're exclusive. They can't. They have to ask permission to do interviews.
Right.
They have to ask permission to do anything,
Which makes you not an independent contractor.
100% not. And so I've never understood it. I've never thought it was cool. So when it comes to that, 100%. Some of the other stuff that was within the segment that frustrated me a little bit was using outdated clips. It's a lot of outdated clips. It's a lot of stuff from before they tried to
2002.
Yeah, a lot of stuff prior to when they tried to make it more of a PG product. So a lot of that stuff, like Vince McMahon saying the N-word on TV, we haven't seen anything like that in a decade or more. He
still said
bad.
it.
No, he said it. Terrible things.
Yeah.
It wasn't good. I'm just saying that I just wish that some of the stuff they had covered were a little more recent. Like when they talked about wrestlers dying young.
Yes.
And the chart they used was from 2013, or when they were talking about the wrestlers who died young, they talked about Macho Man, who died in a car crash and had nothing to do with anything related to healthcare or anything like that. Yeah, he had a heart attack while driving, but I think that was probably more from partying and drug use, probably, but not necessarily from getting slammed.
No,
but you don't know.
We don't know. We don't know.
That's
But it
hard to
wasn't.
say.
But from what we see, it wasn't because of WWE mistreating him or anything like that. Even China, she was a drug. It was drug overdose. And so.
But what he was saying though, what he was saying is that they didn't have enough medical help to be able to.
But they take
because therapy is covered in that.
Yeah, but if you
too,
show people who died for drug-related purposes, I think it's a little unfair because the WWE has a great policy when it comes to that. Literally, any talent who's been there for a day to 10, 15 years, they get free rehab, they treat them, they help them, they get
should
them
have
back
health
to
insurance.
But they're
man.
not getting paid
They
during
should,
that
but I'm talking
time.
about people that are out. Yeah, well, if they're in the company, they are, and if they're not, they're getting free rehab
Jake
when
the
they're
Snake
way
Roberts
past the line.
should have been the fact that he had to do a fundraiser or a crowdfund to get his money for that surgery is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon should have paid for that himself. He put so many asses in seats. He was such a huge personality. Vince McMahon should absolutely be taking care of these people after they leave.
But what if they? I mean, to play devil's advocate here, because I do think they should have healthcare while they're working for the company and stuff like that. But it's not like Jake the Snake didn't keep working after WWE. We don't. Who knows what happened to his body and where that actual injury happened after the fact when he wrestled for other companies and independents and shitty rings. And so I don't know if it's necessarily 100% fair to say that's all on WWE when Jake also made terrible life decisions and stuff like that. So I just don't know if I do think that while working for the company, they 100% should have health care.
Yeah.
They should have annual leave. They should have all
working
the kind of
them
stuff.
all year long.
They're on TV. They're
all
television
year.
stars. They
No
should
break.
be getting no break, but they should be getting some of the perks that some of the television stars
If
get.
not more, they say it's like getting in a car crash every single
Yeah.
night.
I'll tell you what,
you
though,
need a
this is-
little more vacation than the average person, and you're getting none.
This is
None.
another reason I think AEW is very is something very exciting because, as we've heard, that they're going to take a more kind of sports approach, like the old school way with rankings and champions and things like that. if that catches, the WWE is going to do very similar to what they did with WCW, is that they might try to combat it and do something. Maybe or maybe not. Depends on.
I think more importantly is the fact that AEW, to this argument and this debate, is that AEW has said a few things in some of their press conferences. One of them is they've said that they firmly believe in equal pay and that they are going to be, obviously every single person that works on the show is not being paid equal, but like equal to where you stand on the card, and obviously where you stand on the card is a creative decision made by certain people, but like in terms of popularity is kind of how they worded it, of like, so that way basically like the main event women aren't making less than the main event men, and vice versa. On top of that, they have insinuated the fact they are trying to figure out how they can have health care for their wrestlers.
Right. But where I was going with that though was with if it goes back and forth and they have battles again, like we hope that they will, because competition just makes the product better in general. But what I'm hoping happens is that maybe, and I don't know if AEW will do this also, but maybe that they do give more of like a seasonal thing with their wrestlers, right? To where I saw some suggestion too, where maybe some of the wrestlers go from January until I don't know.
I highly doubt that, but I do think the schedule will be a little less extreme.
Lighter.
It's gonna be a little lighter, obviously, because they're not going 24/7.
I would hope so, and you guys know I have a ton of friends who work for WWE, and I brought things like this up to them all the time, and what they say to me is like, this is a dream come true. We've worked our entire careers to get here. We're not going to complain about jack shit. Whatever they give us, we're going to take and we're going to smile about it because we are the lucky ones. And I think that what you're talking about, Kristian, is the opportunity to be the lucky ones elsewhere and kind of elevate that, because right now they have no choice. This is the cream of the crop. This is the top place. And if you get to be so lucky, you just kind of take it because you're like, independent contractor, I don't care. Like, this is the dream.
Right.
So if there is a place that is offering not this independent contractor status, which is ludicrous, and does give even some vacation or anything, that's going to make the WWE think twice about it, and then people are going to be able to get what they deserve, not just what's given to them because that's what the dream is.
And to be fair, just to be honest, like from what I've heard, AEW is signing people as independent contractors too. So I don't want to paint them as like doing something special and different.
How
I've
do
heard
they
they're
get
signing
away with
people.
that? How?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Just the way the business is run right now.
That's how it's always ran. I've always thought it was bullshit. Like I've
well,
always
they tried to
thought
unionize.
that.
They tried to unionize. Jesse Ventura tried to unionize back, and I've seen the interview, and then they mentioned it on that thing last night. But he tried to unionize back in, like, I think it was like 87, 86, 87. He tried. Hogan ratted him out to Vince. And him and Hogan were boys, and he didn't know. And then at the trial, during the steroid trial, they brought up like the unionized thing, and Vince was like, "Yeah, I know Jesse was trying to do that." Like, how'd you know that? He's like, Hogan told me. Like, just ratted Hogan out right there too. And Jesse was
it's
like,
one of the reasons the wrestlers didn't like Hogan for a long time, because he basically put the kibosh on
didn't need a union
because he didn't need it.
No, he was making more than 20 of the guys all together.
But I don't get, if AEW is trying to do it differently, then why are they doing this? And what is the benefit for not the company but the wrestlers? Like, is there any benefit? Because as an independent contractor, you have a ton of benefits because you get to do everything you want. In wrestling, you don't.
So, well, for AEW, from what I've heard, they are going to have more of those flexibility. Like, there's guys like a guy named Joey Janela, where he has his own independent events that he runs, WrestleMania weekend called Spring Break, and they're like, no, go do your thing still. As long as like we can reel you in when we need you, great type thing. That I believe there are some who are on different contracts. Like from what I've heard, from what I've been told and stuff, is that like Cody, the Young Bucks, Adam Page, Christopher Daniels, like some of those guys who are like the main guys starting the company right now, they're all on staff on like actual office positions. Like they are employees, and right now, like they're signing.
You would think they're starting the whole thing.
Totally. So they're like on actual like healthcare benefits, all that kind of stuff. But they're, like you said, they're starting the whole thing. It's a little different. From what I've heard, and from what they've said at the press conferences, is like, we're getting people under contract so that we can reel them in independent wise. Like, they can still go do other things or whatever, as long as we can use them. We have first dibs, basically. And then beyond that, like, I think that they are working to get a healthcare plan for. I'm not great when it comes to healthcare things, but like, they're working to get a healthcare plan for all their employees. So they're working to get one that all their people can. Technically, they're all covered, even though they're independent contractors. From the way I've heard, and that's. I mean, WWE, to their defense, does when someone gets hurt, they pay for a lot of that stuff. They help them.
That's also for them.
That's also for them in liability.
Yeah, right.
100,000%.
And to make sure that their product is continuing to move so someone gets healthy.
So
1,000%.
But all of these wrestlers right now, like tax season, they're all 1099s. They're all paying.
It's crazy.
Dude, check this out. I thought this was. I didn't. And I probably should have. But there's a guy.
Hold that though, Ryan. Hold that just for a second, because the other thing too, going back to even what Ryan was just saying about AEW, right? Doing this and saying you can go and do whatever you have to do, but we want first dibs. That's also on a business side. That's risky because let's say you have Jericho. I think is probably an employee, right? Ryan?
Yes,
okay.
Jericho for AEW. Yes.
Okay, so let's say he's not.
He might be in the independent contractor status.
Right, let's just say he's independent, and Jericho, who's in his 40s, right? You say, or late 40s, and you say to him, "All right, you want to go wrestle in Japan? Okay, good. We just need you for next month." This isn't He's not playing movie trivia in Japan.
Get injured.
If a 48-year-old guy goes over to Japan, and I have him in my event next week, and he gets hurt, then my event's fucked. So it behooves you to make them exclusive, but how do you do that morally if they're independent contractors?
Well, that's been what a lot of people say about AEW is that how?
Right.
It's a risky gamble because
Totally is.
you're gonna have some guy wrestling in some shitty indie show because you're letting him do it, and then he gets injured and your whole show is fucked and you're paying the guy now.
Other than health insurance, though, which is an added expense, absolutely. But why doesn't the company want to make these employees? Why? What are they losing? Why?
I think it's being able to sue. I think I feel like it's suing.
It's suing, but it's also you keep somebody. It's also you have somebody as an employee and all this money that you have to spend on them for.
Yeah, you gain money when you don't have to pay people health care, when you don't have to pay a retirement pension.
That's one thing. The other thing is too, if they want to cut somebody, it's like a matter because it's a lot easier to just cut an independent contractor than as an employee
because you don't have to pay out the rest of their contract.
No severance pay. No.
Right. All of that.
He's awake.
Yeah.
I just wish we had somebody more passionate about wrestling in here to talk about it.
But that's the truth though.
It's so effed
You know
up.
what?
That's why he doesn't want a union.
I thought this was interesting too. Is that after this piece came out, a former so like WWE, they have the Performance Center, which is like where they train the rest. Like they sign wrestlers to contracts and then they put them in the Performance Center basically, and it's got this like fancy state of the art facility, and basically they train them there and then they bring them up when they're ready to the main roster.
Is that the one in Florida?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I thought this was super interesting. I honestly didn't even think about this. A former NXT announcer did a whole thread about the John Oliver thing, and he was talking about how it's not just the wrestlers either. His name's Alex Del Barrio, and he was talking about how it's not just the wrestlers. Like it's announcers, that it's the coaches behind the scenes at the Performance Center. It's the agents. It's not the writers. They're part of the employee, but it's all those types of people too. And you're like, well, wait, those people have a time they have to be there. Yeah. They have meetings they have to abide by. They have they cannot talk to anybody. They're super not allowed to talk to people. Like there's all these rules they have to abide by and stuff. And you're like, well, wait. And he's saying that he said one thing that I thought was interesting. He said that basically that he's had to pay like double taxes on everything because they don't pay the taxes when they have to reimburse him on things. So he's paying the taxes on it and then paying the taxes.
It's not just wrestling.
Like you have to pay your taxes on your per diem and all of that stuff.
But it's not just wrestling, by the way, because I worked for The Bachelor for years. For 6 years, I was never an employee of the company.
That's crazy.
I was an independent contractor producer. I was there every day, except when we had little breaks in between the shows, which was maybe a month or so. But I was an independent producer, independent contractor for the 6 years that I was there.
See, I feel like in the entertainment industry, when that's done, it's a little less sketch because there's so many shows that you can independently contract yourself to.
And a show could go away
tomorrow. And they can't pay you. But like with wrestling, there's for a long time there's one big company.
And it's been going on for. That's right. That's exactly right. Because for example, with The Bachelor that I just gave, there's 1,000 different shows out there. There's nobody. There's
no one going. It's been my lifelong dream to work at The Bachelor, so I'm just gonna take it.
Right.
But my question is there another sport? Because you're comparing it to another reality show, but is there another?
But wrestling is its own
TV shows.
But wrestling,
it definitely is. But your chance of injury is very high. And The Bachelor, you're not sitting there in that room thinking like, somebody's gonna tackle me.
No.
I might be screwed.
There's like no risk as opposed to
all of the risk. So is there another sport in which
No. No, there's no other sport.
I compare it more like
NFL.
being like a stunt person in Hollywood,
Right.
you know, where
Right.
like, and those people are super protected in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and Hollywood doesn't care about wrestlers because it's fake, and you're like,
yeah.
dude,
But
why
the
wasn't
difference with
Hollywood? If you look at the ratings every week, WWE's in the top 3 every time it's on.
Well, and John Oliver said in that thing, the fucking WrestleMania ranks higher than the World Series.
Yeah.
It's like the number 6 biggest sporting event.
And if people didn't care about the players and those things, there'd be outrage. And for some reason, it's like, oh, we don't care. Like, they're just wrestlers who hit themselves for a living. Idiots.
I know.
Garbage people.
Well, I also the other thing is I don't think that people actually know to the extent. And that's why I think John Oliver did very well. I don't think people knew to that extent of how this, like the independent contractor thing. I don't think a lot of people know.
No.
I guarantee you, Reilly didn't know that.
They do not talk about it.
No.
They are
No,
not
why
allowed
would
to.
they?
They don't
Yeah.
open their mouths.
Right.
They're all like part of this society. For me to even get them on one-on-one like friend time to say anything, I
Right.
have to torture them.
Yeah.
Like and pick and prod. They say nothing
Right.
bad about the company.
Yeah.
Ever.
Well, no, because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds
And
them.
they're worried you're gonna
Which I
tell
get.
someone else, and it's gonna go back to them because wrestling's so gossipy or whatever.
Right.
It's silly.
Yeah.
It's very silly. I think that Devin, I would like there to be more attention brought to it. Absolutely.
We're going to go to break. We're going to break. So we're going to go to break. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us, too. Make sure you check out those comments. It's well worth it. Very curious to think what you guys think of
And the full video is on
comments.
ProWrestlingSheet.com if you didn't watch it yet.
Nice.
Do that. Go over there. And we will be back. We're going to talk about Captain Marvel. We're going to talk about this list for sure. And then Peter Serafinowicz and Griffin Newman are coming in from the Tick at 11:30. All right, guys. Just a little bit.
Hey, Collider fans, John Roca here. Look that behind me. There it is, Collider Sports. That's right, that is happening. We've got some great programming on there already. For those of you that have already watched, thanks so much. We got so much coming down the pike. We're talking about NFL. We're going to talk about NBA. There's plans about NHL. Golf is in the equation now. And, of course, the Premier League show that I host with Jack Hind, that's been in motion for the last couple of weeks. And then an MMA show is on the way from Dennis Zhang, me, and Jay Williams. All those things are happening here at Collider. And look, we want to hear from you, so we want you to listen. We want you to watch. If you're a sports fan, even if you're not a sports fan, we might entertain you, teach you something new about a sport that you may not have known much about, or maybe so deep into it that you wanted to learn even more about it. We've got you covered. You can do that. Follow us on iTunes and on YouTube. You can there watch all the shows or listen to all the shows that you want, and then leave us comments and rate the shows as well and review them, and then let us know what other sports you want us to cover. Look, we're not touching rugby. I'll just tell you that right now. That's as far out as we'll go, or cricket. But maybe in the future, if we go Collider worldwide, that's certainly a possibility. But for right now, Collider Sports is there for you. Take a look at it, take a watch, and let us know what you think.
Oh, hi guys. It's Perry here, and I am going to tell you about The Witching Hour. It is the show that I host along with Collider.com's Haley Fouch. It is in podcast form on the Collider Factory feed, and we also have the video up and running every Tuesday for you right there on the Collider Podcast YouTube channel. We talk about everything horror. We're talking TV, movies, the newest releases. We talk about movies that are celebrating anniversaries. We've even talked about books. It's crazy. If it is scary, we are talking about it on The Witching Hour. We also have so many filmmaker interviews, really cool stuff. It's all coming your way every single Tuesday on The Witching Hour. Check it out. Collider Factory and the Collider Podcast YouTube channel.
Hello, Collider Live. My name is Amy Dallin.
And I'm Coy Jandro, and we host a little show we love called Collider Heroes. And it is all of the things we love about movies, TV, comics themselves, all the breaking news, trailers, photos, but not paparazzi photos.
All of the superhero stuff we love, all of the indie comic stuff we love, all the stuff you had no idea was based on comics.
80 years of comic lore have led to this show, and many years in film and TV, and we're living in a golden age of comics, and we want to share all of that zeal with you folks.
So we talk about the stuff that's coming out. We talk about what we hope is coming out. We do fantasy casting of things that should exist. Why don't they exist?
And we do your Twitter questions asking directly to us what we think of certain things. And every single week, since we both actually love and read physical comics, buy in print, we have a comic pull list where our 5 biggest favorite books of the week come out, and we dive into those with you guys.
You can buy digital. I'll forgive you. As long as you're paying for your comics. It's all good.
But if you buy in print, you can bag them and board them, and then they're worth more later, because comics are like certain things from the 90s that are totally worth the value. Buy comics, buy in print. Digital's never worth anything later. Buy in print. Keep comic stores alive.
Or we can debate collector's items all day long. We can debate casting. We can debate movie news. We can have all of our friends come join us, as we frequently do. We can ask professionals about their work. We've had some amazing guests come by the show.
Yep. We try to
can catch it every Wednesday.
That are on these properties that also love comics. You hear what it's like from their perspective, from inside, from outside, and this is all with the focus of bringing all this news to you guys. And we're here every Wednesday on Collider, and we love this stuff and want to share it with you guys.
We'll see you then.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about the Reilly Roundtable. That's right, they gave Reilly his own podcast. The Reilly Roundtable is on its new home. It drops every Thursday. The Reilly Roundtable is a little bit about everything. It's about movies and life and movies and everything in between. I like to have on special guests for discussions like Justice League versus Batman v Superman, for discussions about wine tasting, for discussions about UFOs, and everything in between. That's right, the Reilly Roundtable drops on Thursdays on the One-on-One with Kristian Harloff podcast feed, and later on Collider Video's own podcast video network. So check it out every Thursday, the Reilly Roundtable. See you there.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, one of the hosts for Collider Sports Time. That's our new show there on the Collider Sports Network. It's our flagship show, just like Collider Movie Talk. We get on, talk about a bunch of sports issues of the day and what is burning up social media, what topics are burning up social media. That's what we do on Collider Sports Time. I'm joined by my top 10 co-host, Matt Nost. Me and him, we welcome a bevy of guests every week to talk about NFL, the Major League Baseball playoffs, NHL, and the NBA, which is starting up soon. We'll talk about that. We also get into UFC stuff, college football, all the stuff that's happening in the world of sports. We're going to cover it on Collider Sports Time. And we're going to take the time to break it all down and give our opinions and our unique takes and unfiltered thoughts on what we think about the sports news of the day. So don't forget to join us every week on Monday for the Collider Sports Time show on the Collider Sports Network. And don't forget to subscribe on the Collider Sports Network on YouTube and on the Collider Sports podcast feed. We're going to bring you all kinds of stuff. Hope to hear from you soon.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Collider Live. It is Monday. It is April 1st. And we are going to be talking about a few great, fun things today, by the way. At 11:30, from The Tick, Peter Serafinowicz and Griffin Newman will be here to talk about The Tick, and it'll be great to have those guys in.
Alex was losing his mind.
Oh, I can't tell you how. Every day he's been trying.
Alex.
Yeah, he's been trying to get. He wants Griffin to play in the Schmodown. He's like, hey, can you get him to play on? I'm like, I would love to, but I like all these matches. It's like out of nowhere, and you could tell he was so. At one point, he said to me, he's like, hey, he said he could make it work this week, and I was like, I just can't do it. I don't have enough people. I don't have enough matches, and he's like, all right. he was upset with me. I could tell. But anyway, those guys are coming in at 11:30. That'll be a lot of fun. But there's a couple of things that we need to talk about here. Let's start with the reason why you clicked on the video, or you're looking at the title, and it looks like Captain Marvel is in range. To make a bill, right?
Yeah, it's really close.
What's it at right now?
It's like 990 million
Is that what
worldwide.
It is? Oh, wow. 800 million. 900. Is it really not? Is it?
I'm gonna pull up the article right now, but it's like
Did you say a cool bill or a hot bill?
I didn't say either.
9?
I know, but if you were to say one, you just said a bill.
I wouldn't say either one. I'm too old.
I think it's a cool mill.
990.
It's a cool mill.
996. Yeah, it looks. So, I mean, look.
990 million.
Yeah, man.
9.
Yeah, it's got a good shot. It's got a good shot.
I think more than a shot.
Yeah,
it's going to hit it.
It's gonna hit $1 billion.
Yeah.
So and then that even goes. What's even crazier? And it came out. It came out when? March 8th. And it's been almost. It's been all right. It's been almost a month for this movie, and it's going to be able to hit $1 billion. That's crazy, but the fact that Avengers can
Could
do
make
it
it in
in a
one.
weekend,
I don't think
holy
so.
shit, that would be insanity if it does it in a weekend. That'll never happen again if it I shouldn't say that, but you never know.
Just how many people are there?
I know,
Like,
but it's
Lots.
repeat viewing for the weekend.
yeah,
Because
I know, but
silly-
it's 3-hour plus movie.
I know.
They'll go see it opening night, maybe Thursday. They'll go again on a matinee. They'll go again on a Sunday matinee.
So even if every single person sees it 3 times,
Yeah.
it's so many people.
Yeah. Well, Captain Marvel, the marketing obviously is it worked very well. Well, just because of playing into it, just shows you how you maneuver this serialized series of films together, and you guys, a lot of people were saying it's just because of the Avenger buzz. It's whatever you put out right now. I mean, the movie's got to be good, obviously too, but whatever you put out, it's going the leg up because it's okay. How does this tie into this big story? Which really now will put added pressure a little bit, and maybe takes off a little pressure too, but to the movies that are coming out after Endgame, because it's like now you got to set me up. Now you got to set me up. Why do I care again now that I know that this first part of this whole story is over? Why do I want to go through this all over again?
They'll tease something.
Yeah, you have to imagine they're thinking of that.
Yeah, of course they are. Yeah.
There was an article that, God, I can't remember, but Kevin Feige basically told Chris Evans, he's like, when he signed on, because Chris Evans did not want to sign on for Captain America. It took like 2 or 3 times for Marvel. And Kevin Feige basically gave him a broad stroke of everything. Yeah. Winter Soldier, to Civil War, to Infinity War. He's like, this is where we're going. So think about it that way. There's a post-credit scene in Endgame teasing the big broad stroke that he's telling Captain Marvel, he's telling Black Panther, he's telling all these people. I think we'll get something where we'll care.
Do you guys think, related but unrelated, ever in our lifetime we will see a DC Marvel crossover film? No?
No.
You think there's no shot?
No. Warner Brothers and Disney are never going to come to terms. There's too much. Who gets the fact that Sony and Marvel the only reason that Sony and Marvel were able to do it is because Spider-Man was in deep trouble, and Sony could possibly have lost Spider-Man if they didn't do it because people were tired of those movies. So they made a deal, and that was holy shit. I can't believe Sony and Marvel are going to do something together, right? Or Disney. To see those crossover, because then it's one of those things of who's going to be able to do what, because it's different so Spider-Man is inside of the Marvel universe, so they are on the same page for the most part of how to portray the character. DC has their way to run their characters, and Marvel has their way.
Even for one movie.
I think it would be a $1 billion movie if they did it, but there's just it's too many egos.
Have they ever done it in the comics?
Yes.
Yeah.
They've done comics.
Yeah. Riley, you think ever?
No. Never. Yeah, you have two big conglomerates in Disney and then Warner Brothers and Time Warner and everything that they've been doing to build and buy HBO and all this stuff.
Too many executives.
There's so many executives. There's so much red tape there.
Too many lawyers.
I don't think it'll ever happen. I would love to see it. I'd love to see Thor take on Superman like the next guy, but
too many lawyers.
Yeah,
they're not going to happen.
Brett, any hope?
I think it'll happen.
You think it's going to happen, Brett?
My expertise.
Do you know what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't like money, but I guess
Well, that's the big thing is who gets all the money. That's what it's going to be.
But you only have to put up half the money.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then it's going to be
TV show.
No, it just won't happen. Those properties will never cross over.
Miniseries?
No. I mean, I just don't see it happen.
Short film?
Look.
Yeah, short film.
Never.
It's not by Warner Brothers.
By fans. Yeah. But the thing is, though, you never know that maybe in, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 5 years from now.
Yeah. Disney buys Warner Brothers completely.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing. But not just that. But the other thing is, and no, that won't happen either. But if they have conversations of 2 executives that happen to be not in power now, that are friendly and become the head, the Bob Igers and whoever the fuck is running Warner Brothers now, and they for some reason, let's do it. There is a less than 1% chance of that ever happening, but you should never say never. But no, I don't think it'll happen. It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. You know the Avengers, right?
What's that?
Yeah,
the one with Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Can you
could do the Collider video thing that we did, which is you get $15, right?
You look like
I know. I wanted
look like
to.
a kid lost in an amusement park.
I said to him off air, I said, Brett, are you okay? And he said, no.
No. What's going on?
No, it's it's stupid that having your phone an hour away from you can kind of just
ruin your whole
day, and it's just like
I get it with you though because you have kids, you have a wife.
There's like a whole
you got pickup times.
Yeah,
I feel like inside of your head there's a workplace,
and I'm trying to like get involved, but then I keep going like, so if I go,
just imagine a workplace though. And it's just everybody's just kind of working, and then someone just walks in and goes, ah! Everybody just starts scattering and running around, and then the office is just empty with one guy typing, like not knowing that's the guy that's running his body right now.
Yeah.
That's the guy. And,
I do feel bad.
Yeah,
it's just weird. It's one of those things where you go like, God, that's stupid. We never had these things, and now like if you forget it, it's like
no more pub crawls for you on a Sunday.
No, not
But
at all.
how did you not know you didn't have your phone? See, if you were directionally challenged, you'd know immediately.
I know, that's the thing. That my wife asked me, well, how did you navigate? I take the same path every single day.
But you didn't look at
you don't put podcast on.
No, that's why he doesn't hook up podcast to his car.
And I didn't bring. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but I didn't bring my Bluetooth speaker that I've been using to do that.
I used to do that.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry. No, it's.
So at what point did you realize?
I realized that as I pulled up and I went.
So you didn't go to use your phone one time through your entire hour and 15-minute drive?
No, that's dangerous.
Call anybody?
No. I had my music on and I was having a great morning. I mean, I'm tired. I'm not like hungover. I'm just tired from being up with my wife. As soon as the kids leave,
his last tweet was, "I upgraded the old minivan with a little high-tech Bluetooth technology, and yes, I can't afford to fix my airbags. DM me with sponsorship deets."
That blinking light, man. I got to fix that light.
Yeah, this whole thing. This is
airbag just goes.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for you.
No, it's good. It's good. And I feel bad that I'm not with it. I think the coffee kind of boosted me up
a little bit.
Good. Yeah.
You woke up just a little bit.
Woke up a little bit.
Right,
yeah.
Good. All right, well, welcome back for.
It's all about the phone.
Yeah, it's just
and the beer and the pub crawl.
Yeah, no, I am tired. I am.
What classifies as a pub crawl? How many bars?
My wife and I we walked. We live down. It's Westchester, but it's kind of there's like this little area, Toes Beach kind of area. There's like this Bakari PDR we went to.
Bakari is one of my favorite places in the entire city. It's so good there.
We went to Prince of Wales. We went to Hacienda. There was one more. There's another one.
Is that where you live? I'm over there all the time.
Yeah. And we just
give your address.
Yeah. We walked from our place.
That's a big area.
We were walking the whole time. And again, by no means like drinking a lot. It's just the 45-year-old body of.
I had 2 Bloody Marys.
Was it wine?
It was toast.
Just beer for me.
That was it. All right. Well, congratulations on being back for a little bit. All right. Let's move on because I want to talk about this MCU villains list because none of you guys have looked at this list, right?
No, well, Reilly.
No, I started, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
Let's bring it. Don't worry about it, Reilly. You don't bring it up. I want them to bring it up here because I want to go from the worst one all the way to the top.
Do you want to bring it up here so we don't have to crane our necks?
Because here it is. Go all the way to the first one. Okay, so number 26. There's 26 of these. They have Whiplash
Dead last.
As dead last.
I don't.
I'm not with that at all.
Nope. I would put.
Hold on. Don't go down yet. So 26.
I think just not memorable at all.
He's not memorable, but he's not the worst.
No,
I like
what I'm
him
saying.
in it.
Just not memorable.
He's fine.
I
He
really like him in it.
that well.
He
The
wasn't.
worst, he's not the worst.
He's not the worst.
No.
I'll.
And I know this is his opinion. I get it, but we're going to be saying that we don't agree with majority of these. So Whiplash, number 26, fundamentally disagree. Next one, also disagree with this one.
Yep.
Emil Blonsky, Abomination, The Incredible Hulk. I love The Incredible Hulk. I think it's a good movie. I thought he was really good in the movie, and I think he's one of the better villains.
Yes,
I
he
put
should
him
be
way
a lot-
higher.
yeah.
Way higher. 25 is a travesty.
There's a couple of villains in my head that
you're
they
okay
should
with
be
this,
over
Ross?
I just think that this is a lack of a rewatch.
Oh, yeah, but okay. You just think they haven't watched it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's so long ago.
Right. Yeah, I think he's great. All right, go down here, 24. Now this asshole, Malekith, I'd put towards the end.
I put him last.
I put him
That's
last.
the one I was thinking because he barely's in it. Well, he's in it, but he's just kind of one note and I want to bring darkness. That's it.
Yeah.
It's also the worst movie, and he's a huge part of why.
So Malekith to me is close to being ranked last. So
Yeah.
the 24, okay, because he's at least stinking up the bottom. Go keep going. 23, Dormammu. No, Dormammu was a better villain than number 23, right? I know. Roxy, even I know you didn't like the movie, but do you think he was a bad villain?
The whole thing.
You hated the whole thing. So you're okay with him being this low?
Lower.
Okay. Reilly?
I mean, he's not in it. It's Dormammu is just the end for me. But again, I think Dormammu would be lower than, Abomination and what was the other one?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Forget.
He could be. Now, I don't even remember this person. Laufey.
I don't remember. I've seen all these movies. I don't remember
Laufey.
having.
I don't even know who this is. Do you remember?
He was a
Laufey?
Frost Giant. Yeah,
Again,
he was the head of the
forgettable.
Frost Giants. Thor picks a fight with them.
Okay, so he could probably go last, to be honest. 'Cause I don't
He's
remember.
fine.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember.
The Thor villains were in
Not
both
great.
1 and 2 were not great.
Not great.
So I would put them towards the
Yeah.
end and put Dormammu and
And
Abomination
you know
above.
What? I don't even think Goldblum is ranked, and he should be because he's great in that movie. All right, go to 21. Ronan, because Ronan was in both movies. The 21 ranking's okay. He's a stinky villain. He wasn't very good. So 21, I'm okay with.
I like
Anybody?
him better than that.
You think he's a little higher? Mm-hmm. Okay, go next one. 20 is Caecilius from Doctor Strange. Roxy, you still okay? So
Blah.
a lot better than some of those. So
I think he's better. Yeah, 20.
I think that's a good spot
Yeah,
for
it's
him.
fine. No, 19. Alexander, no, this is ridiculous.
No, go way higher.
I'm gonna. He's in top 5 for me. So
Yeah.
go back, please. Alexander Pierce from Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and number 19 is a travesty. It should easily top 5 villains for sure because it was the swerve. It was the fact that Robert Redford, all that stuff. So this is 19 is one of the biggest mishaps I think on this list.
Yeah.
18. Ghost.
Yeah.
Didn't she turn out to be good at the end?
I don't know. I've only seen it once. I think so.
Kind
In a
of.
sense,
I think that I really liked her actually, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
You put her higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably.
All right. So yeah. Oh yeah. See, they even said he says it. Go
But
back.
I think that
he goes back up.
you
He
still
starts
call
it.
Darth Vader bad, right?
Yeah, but he's bad for the majority of it. Her mission is different. It's a little unfair to include Ghost because her character's more of an antagonist than a true villain.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so-
Like an anti-hero, I guess you could
But
call
a
it.
good point. He says, but she's indeed the main baddie.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a valid point. I could that spot's fine. Keep
I
going.
liked her.
17, Darren Cross. I think he could be a little higher up on the list. I think he's in top 10 for me. You guys?
Yeah.
Top 10?
Not top 10.
I would say maybe I'd put him at 15.
Okay.
So a couple spots higher.
Okay. All right, keep going. 16, General Ross. Yeah, I guess same thing. I don't really see him as a villain. I mean, I guess for his perspective.
I would put him lower than this because, again, with the memory, so.
Yeah, I would put him if we're gonna rank him at all, he'd be much higher, lower down because I just don't really. I see him. He was more going after Banner because of the thing that happened with his daughter and everything too. He's not really.
You understand
bad.
where he's coming from.
Abomination is a villain. I don't really see Ross, but I can understand because he is the one that basically puts the serum in
Abomination.
Before he becomes Abomination, he put the super serum in him. So, all right, keep going. Jan Rog from Captain Marvel. He's too high ranked for me. This is you have to have seen Captain Marvel at this point, so this is gonna be a spoiler. Jude Law to me has played the I'm good. No, just kidding.
Nope,
I'm bad.
just kidding.
So many times now that it was so predictable when he was cast. I'm like, well, he's bad.
I really liked him.
You liked him?
Yeah, I
You
liked
think
him a lot.
Good ranking for you?
Well, I think that when we're talking about true villains, I think there was an issue in this movie about not having a lack of a true villain. But I thought that he did well with the material that was given to him. So if I'm ranking Jude Law, I'd put him higher. But I guess Jan Rog, whose name I just learned right now for the first time.
Yeah. All right, let's go a little quicker here. 14, Hella Thor. I put her a lot.
I'd put her a lot higher.
Me too, way higher.
Yeah.
She's the only
Great.
thing, she's the only thing that,
pretty
only
menacing
female
in that.
villain that you just remember so
Yeah.
hard. She's
And she
bomb.
just loved.
Yeah.
She was chewing the scenery in a good way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
she's
loved
so
it.
good.
13, Winter Soldier. He's definitely a villain in that movie, and he
Yeah.
should be way
Way
higher.
higher.
Way
He might
higher.
be my number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
he's-
top 3 for sure
Yeah,
for me.
he's in top 5 for me, absolutely. So
One of the best backstories to a villain ever.
Yeah,
keep going. So now 12, This is silly.
Get him.
Aldrich Killian at number 12. This is silly. This
Put him lower.
He's in 20, maybe 18. No,
I barely remember it.
Yeah, no, thank you. 11. Zemo, same thing. It's fine.
I think that's a good spot for me, actually.
At 11?
Yeah, maybe 11? A little bit lower. Maybe 15.
I'm
going
15.
He's in the back half of my.
Yeah.
Because I wanted more. There was so much potential with him. I liked his motivation. I liked the connection to his family, but then it just kind of petered out.
Justin Hammer is number 10.
Get him higher.
Come on, higher?
Yes.
You would want him in the top?
I
Really?
love Sam Rockwell
okay.
in Iron Man 2. I'm sorry, when he's one of the comical villains. When he does this thing where he's like, I got your bird, and then he's like, listen, and he holds up his hand and he has a self-tanner all over his hand. I just love him.
Wow, okay. See, Ultron to me is too high. I think Ultron...
Way too high.
Yeah, because Ultron could have been the Vader of the series and could have been what I thought... What Thanos became, I thought Ultron was going to be, because the trailers, strings, amazing.
Ultron ultimately ended up busting the whole movie.
Yeah. Obadiah Stane, I can put him in the top 10 only because of legacy, because he was one of the first villains.
He is the first.
Yeah,
in the MCU.
Yeah. All right, so I'll put him in the top 10 for sure. The rankings are over. Go down a little bit because the rankings are go down. Keep going.
Wait, why did we go from 8 to 5?
Because the rankings are off. 7's right there. 7 is Red Skull. I'm okay with Red Skull in the top 10. Mm-hmm. I think he's good. I could probably put him in the 10 spot. But then number 6 is Ego. Come on. I don't love this movie, so I would put Ego in maybe number 20.
No, I'd put him right around there.
You put him at 6?
Top 10.
Really? Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, this is the most. Now, I said the ridiculous thing before. This is the most ridiculous on the entire list.
Yeah.
Thanos at number 5. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Where do you put him?
1.
1?
I
think I might put him 2, but
I think there's an argument to be made that you can, depending on this list, depending on everyone in the room.
Now turn around and look at this. This is. That's to piss people off.
No.
The Mandarin Trevor Slattery is the number 4
above Thanos.
That's to piss people off.
That's
to piss people off.
That you cannot. Yeah. I don't understand that whatsoever.
Yeah. Adrian Toomes at 3. I would put him in top 10. I think I think the last 2 years have seen some of the best.
Bothered me at some points.
He does, but he's
not he does in general in this role.
That role. But anyway, what I'm saying is the MCU has had over the last 2 years, because for a long time the villain work was pretty lackluster.
Yeah.
We've seen Michael Keaton. We've seen Killmonger, which ranks in at number 2, and Thanos obviously. But and Loki at number 1. I just think Loki.
If you call him a villain.
Yeah. I mean, he was
for the most part
he was clearly the villain in the first Avengers.
Thor.
I would put Loki as number 2. I would have Thanos as number 1. Mm-hmm. I would have Loki as number 2. I would have Killmonger as number 3.
I'm having your same list.
Yeah, and 4 I would actually have
Bucky.
Robert Redford. Bucky for Winter Soldier, yes, and then 5 I had Robert Redford. Those are my top 5.
Yeah,
but the come on, the Ben Kingsley, get him out of there. He's not even a villain. He's a ridiculous drunk actor. He's not even a villain.
Yeah.
Silly.
I think Loki, Thanos, Bucky, Killmonger for my top 4.
I could make the argument for Loki number 1, but I gotta go Thanos, Loki, Killmonger. I'd go Bucky, and then
so we have the same top 4.
And Justin Hammer for you.
No.
Wow.
No. But I like, he would be like 7 or 8.
And then honestly, Hela's probably my 5.
But I love so Keaton and Homecoming.
Yeah, they're good.
He's close to top 5.
Brett?
So
Thanos 1 through 5.
Thanos.
Okay,
good.
You got it.
And just like that, we'll snap you out. All right. When we get back, guys, we're going to break. When we get back, we're going to be joined by 2 of the stars from the show, The Tick. That's right. Peter Serafinowicz and Griffin Newman will be joining us in studio right after the break.
No, it's not late to the party. That's actually from Obi-Wan Kenobi. You didn't know that? Well, you should, and now you do. Jedi Council, what is it? It's about Star Wars, obviously. It's Jedi Council. Every week, the latest and greatest in Star Wars movie news. Myself and Ken Knapsack, that's right, the pit boss himself. We have a guest on, and we talk about everything happening in the world of Star Wars. If it's the movie news, the TV news, canon news, comic books, games. And then we take questions from you guys on Facebook and Twitter. It's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. I'm still excited talking about it. The fan base is coming together again. I believe it is. I think it is. I hope it is. And we're talking Star Wars, so we like you. That's right, all of you. If you're not a fan of Star Wars, come on over and join us every Thursday for Collider Jedi Council here on Collider Video. And we have an Apple Podcast feed or Podcast One, wherever you want to go if you listen to podcasts. And not only do you get Collider Jedi Council every week on Thursday, The Rule of Two with Mark Fernandez and Mark Reilly, that's on every week. I believe it drops on Wednesday. It's on one of these days. It's a good show. You should listen to it. I like it. I listen to it. I haven't listened to it once.
Hey guys, Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com. And if you're a pro wrestling fan, which I hope you are, even if it's in secret, then you should be checking out Wrestling Sheet Radio Weekly. We've got a bunch of shows in the podcast feed. We've got weekly recaps from myself and John Roca, which you guys will probably know from the Collider family. That's for Raw, that's for SmackDown. We've also got the weekly roundup of wrestling news. It's a show I host called Wrestling Sheet Radio with Jamie Iovine and Elijah Bates. And we've also got a bunch of other stuff in our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/wrestling sheet. So check it out, subscribe, and I hope you guys dig it.
Hey guys, Perry here to remind you to tune in for Collider Movie Talk every single Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 p.m. PT Live. We are live. We talk about movies. We answer your live Twitter questions. It's so much fun. We talk about everything from box office to all your favorite superhero movies. We talk about horror on a good day for me, and who knows, maybe even a spoonerism will happen. I don't know. That's what happens when you watch Collider Tuvi Mock, right? Are you going to watch? You better watch. Go watch now.
What's up, Collider fans? If you are a fan of television and you want to watch a guy that looks like me and a guy named Thad Williams talk about TV every single Friday, subscribe to the Collider channel. Collider Podcast is where you can find the video. We have our own iTunes feed, hashtag at Collider TV Talk. You can find on iTunes or wherever you find your podcasts and you listen to them and your ear holes. That's where Collider TV Talk comes at you. We talk about TV news. We talk about shows we love, shows that we don't love, and most importantly, we don't read any books because TV has nothing to do with reading. We also have a show called Hypothetical Questions with myself and Roxy Striar and all kinds of reviews right here at the Collider Podcast channel and the Collider TV Talk feed. Subscribe, rate, like, tell your friends, tell all your friends and tell their friends, and before you know it, it's a pyramid scheme of television. I'm Josh McCouga. You can see Thad Williams and myself along with Roxy Striar and all the Collider personalities all the time right here on Collider TV Talk. As always, put down the book, pick up the remote.
Hey guys, Reilly here, and let me tell you about Rule of Two. Rule of Two is a Star Wars podcast hosted by myself and Mark Fernandez. It drops on the Jedi Council podcast feed every Tuesday. You like Star Wars? Good. I like Star Wars. And you know what we do? We talk Star Wars. And not only talking Star Wars, we celebrate Star Wars. We gave the Golden Lightsabers the best in Star Wars, best picture, best opening theme, best crawl, and all that good stuff. We celebrate the games of Star Wars. We do everything in the Star Wars universe with a lot of debate and a lot of discussion thrown in the middle. So make sure you check out Rule of Two every Tuesday on the Collider Jedi Council podcast feed, on iTunes, and later on Collider Video. That's Rule of Two with Reilly and Mark Fernandez every Tuesday. And may the Force be with you.
All right, everybody, we're back. Collider Live here on this Monday, and we're pretty excited here too, guys, because we are going to be having both Griffin Newman and Peter Serafinowicz for The Tick. But first, Griffin is here. You know him from The Tick, which is coming out season 2 here, and from also his podcast Blank Check. It has Griffin and David alongside. Blank Check with Griffin and David alongside critic David Sims.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us here today.
Oh, please, thank you for having us here.
Yeah, it's good.
I speak for Peter, who's not in the room yet. But preemptively, thank you for having both of us here.
We're excited to have both of you guys here because we've been kind of going back and forth on Twitter. Alex, who's like a huge fan of the show, was like, you gotta have these guys on. I'm like, absolutely. I've been a fan of you guys for a little bit here, and the fact that you can, because you're a big movie lover, obviously.
Big time.
So we can just kind of shoot the shit about that. But we also have The Tick season 2 is premiering on Amazon Prime on April 5th.
Yes. Yes.
And ladies and gentlemen, also coming in to join us in just a second.
Here he
There he
is.
is. Peter Serafinowicz is
landing.
here. Hello, sir. How are you? Please join us.
Yeah, good.
And let us talk about Tick Season 2 once again, guys. It's premiering on Amazon Prime on April 5th. And look, let's talk a little bit about the show because I actually have a friend. It's Yara Martinez.
Yes.
Oh,
who is-
Yara, yeah.
The great Yara.
Now I've
Martinez.
known her for a long time. We've been way before when she was just a struggling actress. I knew Yara, and she was she had been on Schmoes and everything too, and she was so excited when she got the role. And she leaned into it. She really leaned into the.
Yeah, she's incredible.
She's so funny, man.
Yeah.
And such a brilliant actor.
Yeah, but she really is, and but it's everything that you guys are doing on the show. It's got to be. It just looks like a lot of fun.
It's tough. I mean, the goal is to make it look like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows where it's like you put a lot of effort and work into making it feel like it's light.
Right.
You know, because there is it's very difficult handling that many different sort of tones and genres at the same time.
Yeah.
Like as a kid, I'd be like, why isn't every movie like Ghostbusters? Every movie should have everything
Just
in
like
it.
that, it's true.
It should be funny and
Yeah.
it should be exciting and
It's
it
like
should
my
have
wife.
action.
My wife compares everything. She says, "Well, it's no Pretty Woman."
Right.
Yeah, right.
But then you like make something like this and you're like, oh, that's why people don't try it, because it's really tough to do like comedy and special effects and pathos and, you know, real sort of propulsive storytelling and all these things.
Well, Peter, when you got involved, though, too, going back to obviously before I know we're in season 2 here, but going into season 1, were you a fan of the property before? Because obviously we had some iterations beforehand, or was it like it was because of the new script, it was because of the new vision of it that's what got you kind of hooked on it?
I wasn't a fan of it, but just because I didn't know it, you know, I was aware of it, and I thought it was something that it wasn't. I thought it was. I had this impression of it that it was a far less sophisticated, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was like more of a kind of straightforward parody. And I hadn't, when I read Ben's script, I was like, wow, this is so well written. Every sentence on the page was like you could take it out, and it was I would be proud of just having one of those in the script that I'd written, you know, so then retroactively I went back and looked at the comics. Ben actually sent me his own copies of the first run of the Tick comics, which was great, and I watched some of the cartoon, and then I watched a tiny bit of Patrick Warburton, and I was like, I mustn't watch this because a bit of it must have seeped into me anyway.
Right. Yeah, that's the risk of watching it, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just so delightful what he did that I just thought I don't want to be influenced by it anymore.
Have you spoken to him at all?
No, we've messaged each other, you know, and I'm very upset with him because he could have told me about the suit.
right, exactly. Yeah, do you ever get just frustrated after a while with it, or you just
No, not after a while. No, immediately, immediately, and constantly.
So did you have the same experience where sometimes it's not as fun as it looks?
No, it's never as fun as it looks.
Yeah.
We're amazing actors.
Right, that's
why
goal.
it looks fun.
I mean, we both we love the scripts and we love working with each other, and the actual technical demands of the show are just like incredibly high, and it makes it very satisfying when you watch it. Right. I mean, I feel like
the plays in the edit and everything too.
We were at WonderCon on Saturday, and we got to see them screen the first episode of season 2, and you go like, wow, look how many different things the show is doing, and how tight it is, and the visual scope of the thing, how many plates are spinning. But while you're doing it, it's very it's hard to balance the things that are so technical and almost mechanical. Like, I mean, in order to act like you're not horribly uncomfortable in the costume requires like certain like training exercises, you know?
What do you do?
Well, it's like you learn how to like overcome, I mean, you know, it's like we talked about the story, but where like when Jim Carrey was making The Grinch, they hired like a CIA torture expert to teach him like how people who are being held captive like learn to not obsess over the pain, and you learn certain things of how to take care of yourself in between takes, but also just like knowing, oh, this is what it naturally does to my body, and I have to work twice as hard to look neutral.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it, you know?
Right.
So are you in excruciating pain all the time?
Well, no. However, most of the
Much
time.
of the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then, but if I'm not in pain, then I can't breathe, and or I'm trying to divert the blood flow in my body to my brain so that I don't fall over.
So there's like a lot of strategic stuff like that. And when you're making like a Marvel movie, they have like a lot of time and a lot of money, you know? And, you know, we're on a TV schedule where it's hard to pull off the scale of what Ben writes, which is so exciting
How
when
long
you
did we
read
have
it.
each episode? It was like 7 days for each episode, was it?
Well, it was
Did
like
work out?
8 or 9 days for 2 episodes at the same
Oh,
time.
God,
we
yeah,
would we would
that's it,
cross
yeah.
shoot it, so you're jumping back and forth. And so
crazy.
like, you know, something like you know, if you're on an Avengers movie, it might be like you have 6 days to work on this fight.
Right.
And so you really get to hone each little movement and take time in between to prepare
but
yourself and
a TV
unwind.
show, it's like, you
and
gotta
this
go.
it's like we're
Yeah.
shooting the fight scene before lunch.
Wow.
And then after lunch we have 8 pages of dialogue.
But I have to
exhausting.
assume, since you guys are back for season 2, something makes it worth it. So what is that thing?
I think it's the show itself, right?
Yeah.
I guess. And, you know, paying our mortgages.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
no, but I love the show. I love it. It's hard to make.
When I was a kid, I still am obsessed with the Muppets, and I remember at a very young age watching like behind the scenes specials about the Muppets and being blown away that it was like, oh my God, they have to like carve out the couch, and then like Frank Oz is in a fetal position under cushions, contorting his arm like this, just so that Miss Piggy can do a dialogue scene.
Yeah.
And I remember as a child going like, that's so crazy that they put themselves in that much discomfort just to make like an 8-year-old entertained.
There was an 8-year-old on your set who came to visit. It probably feels the same exact way
when kids
now.
come to set, or
Right.
when we would film outdoors and kids would see us on the street, I feel like we would both get that rush of energy where you'd go like, oh right, that's why. You know, I'm a massive fan of The Tick, so it's like I know how much that show meant to me.
Yeah.
So I'm able to keep in mind all the time, like I know why I'm making this and who I'm making this for, and you have to kind of keep reminding yourself, like 9 months from now when you go to the convention and everyone watches it and it looks like it was a lot of fun to make. That's why you put up with it. If
Sure.
that makes sense. I don't want to make it sound like it's an abusive relationship.
No, I
Would you be a
understand.
bigger fan of the show if you guys weren't a part of it? Would it be easier to watch?
I can't watch myself comfortably. Yeah, so I do
I
feel
always
like
every time actors say that, every
Yeah.
time and it's a common thing.
Yeah.
Are you able to watch yourself?
Well, I feel similar to Griffin in that I can't watch him.
we both have a hard time with my work.
Just you. It's
Yeah.
just you
Yeah.
because it's a common thing. People say it all the time. I've heard it so many times. Sorry, not to cut you off. Just
No.
curious why that. You know, a lot of times.
I don't know. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. Depends if I think, I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, there are things I haven't even seen.
Yeah.
You know, that I've been in.
Yeah.
So, and also things that I've done like a couple of, I've shot like for one day on, and then so I think, right, okay, this is a thing I've never seen. I can't remember doing.
Yeah.
And I barely read the script for
Right.
it. It's like I
Yeah.
probably was cast like, 2 days or whatever before. You just kind of semi-learn it and
Yeah.
then do it, and
Right.
it's forgotten. It's like, did that actually happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it exist?
What is the biggest thing you've been a part of that you've never seen?
The Tick.
Have you never watched an episode?
No, I'm kidding.
Have you watched John Wick yet?
Yeah. No.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I've watched a bit of my scene.
Yeah.
You are missing out.
You're
my
missing
friend.
out on that one.
Yeah, I saw the first one. That was
Right.
great.
You did. Right. You didn't see the one that you're in.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
How come?
I don't seem to have the time to do anything really.
What do you do? What's your? I mean, obviously, I know that you guys are so busy working on the show. But what do you do for downtime? Are you a big reader? Like what?
That's none of your business. Wow.
Sure.
We both.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
It's. You might not agree with it, but that is my right to do whatever I want.
You're absolutely right. I apologize.
We're both big video game people.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys
That's a
play?
lot of time.
I certainly, it's weird. I play a lot less when I'm not filming. it's like when I'm working, when I get home, I'm simultaneously so exhausted and so wired from having to keep the energy up all day that I like need to do something, you know?
But you're a big movie guy. You watch a lot.
Huge. I see everything.
You see everything. So that's why I was curious.
Peter has kids too, though. I get to see everything because I have no obligations in my life.
Now that I can relate to. I have 2 kids, and I see movies for my job, but when I'm not, it's very hard to watch.
Well, if I didn't have to watch them for my job, I mean, I don't. How many times have we been to the cinema? Probably this year, like. I think we've been once.
What'd you say?
The Grinch.
Oh, okay.
So young kids.
Last year.
Last
year.
You saw
Spider-Verse.
I saw Spider-Verse, which I really
great.
Which I thought was pretty astonishing.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. But yeah, the Grinch. I not so much.
No, yeah. I mean, look, that's the problem with especially going to kids' movies too. It's some of them when they play to both adults and kids, then it's enjoyable for us to go. But sometimes when they really go. Just on the kids level, it's hard. Like I just saw Dumbo. It wasn't a.
You were not into it.
Not a big fan.
Did you see it?
I have not seen it yet.
Not a big fan of
I'm
it.
a big like.
It's pronounced Dumbo. By the way.
Dumbo. I know. They asked us to preach it. Dumbo. Yeah.
Is it good? Is Dumbo good?
I didn't love it. Because it's.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, my problem with it was that it just became more of a Tim Burton sequel to the original than it was an actual retelling of the movie with some new things. So it just wasn't.
Is Johnny Depp Dumbo?
No. It's not a crazy question to ask.
No.
It really isn't.
In 2019, anything.
And all fairness, we don't know that he's not Dumbo.
He could be Dumbo.
No, he don't.
He might have gone uncredited.
We don't know.
Peter, one question I want to ask you before we get out of here today too. We have a little more time, but just because I know the fans would get mad at me if I didn't. Were you ever contacted for Solo? Because they have Darth Maul that pops in at the end. You're famously the voice for Phantom Menace.
I was.
And did you turn it down?
I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't. I was really. I was like, wow, okay, cool.
Yeah.
How cool to bring this character back and Ray Park was doing it and it was all secret. I went in and did it.
Oh, you did the lines?
I did.
Oh, wow.
In what capacity? You mean
the whole thing?
You actually filmed all of it?
I
was the voice.
You recorded it?
Recorded this scene. I went to where was it? Whatever studios, Pinewood Studios it was, and I was on the set and I spoke to Ron Howard for about half an hour about the character and what he'd become, and which was 29 minutes more than I spoke to George Lucas about the character 20 years ago. Just make him sound evil. That was it.
Was that really the note?
That was it. Yeah. Wow. And so I did it, and it was all super secret. Like Ray Park was coming in the day after, and to film the actual physical thing, and they had to bring him in a blacked out limousine, and there was an area of the set that was off limits to everybody, and it was all secret. And anyway, and then I was excited that this film was going to come out because I was going to take my kids and their friends, and it'd be I've got a secret. I mean, I told my kids, but it'll be a cool thing. We'll just go with your friends to see the new Star Wars film, and then your dad's in it, and then it was a couple of days before I got a message.
It was right after the premiere.
It was, and I was I saw it on Twitter that there were people at the premiere. I was like,
you weren't invited to the premiere?
I was not invited.
So you didn't know up until after the premiere?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I got this email saying, we're sorry, but we actually changed the voice actor to the guy who plays him in
Sam Witwer,
Sam Witwer, and which is kind of fair enough, and they said it was better for the continuity of the thing, but it was a bit disappointing.
Of course, no, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I think that the reasoning obviously makes sense, but still, to not learn about it until after the premiere is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Did you go see it?
No.
No. At that point,
no, I
no.
boycotted it. Yeah, I was on the news and everything.
You were in the news for boycotting?
He had a picket line.
There we go.
He had his kids working.
I dressed up as Darth Maul.
Not my mall.
Right. Not my mall.
Not my mall.
Yeah.
Not my mall.
Yeah, and Griffin, I do want to talk. Let's talk a little bit about your podcast too,
Sure.
because that's how I got you in my radar too. Is we do this thing here on the Movie Trivia Schmodown,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
like
yeah.
the UFC. If UFC was movie trivia, it would be the Schmodown, and everyone's been talking about you, saying, "Man, this guy would be something to watch." Like, where'd your love for movies kind of come when you were younger?
Yeah, it was immediate. I mean, I just don't remember. I was one of those children where when my parents went in for parent-teacher conferences, they were like, "You should maybe find a way to get him to talk about other things
than just movies." Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't interested in anything else other than movies and TV, and even from a very young age, watching behind-the-scenes Muppet specials, and being like, I want to figure out how all this stuff works.
What was the first one that you can remember that was like, wow, your big light bulb?
My movie that was like my Star Wars was when the first Toy Story came out. My parents bought me an adult coffee table book. I think I brought it to them at a bookstore and they assumed it was like a picture book. And it was like an adult coffee table book that was like a very academic rundown of the development process of a computer animated film.
And that just
I read that to sleep every night, and I was
how old were you?
I was 6.
That's crazy.
Right, and it's this thing where I have often not received checks for jobs I've worked because I forget which apartment number I live in and had write down the wrong address on contracts. But I remember anything I've ever learned about this stuff, I have a weird retention for it. And the podcast came out of trivia. My co-host, David Sims, is a film critic now for The Atlantic, wrote for the AV Club at the time doing TV recaps and stuff. And people on Twitter said, you guys should be friends. You tweet a lot of similar opinions. So we went and hung out one time, and while we were hanging out, our friend Pilot Viruet said, I'm at this movie trivia night. Do you want to come here? And the two of us went there, and I had just gotten fired off of a network sitcom, and David had just gotten broken out after a long relationship. Yeah. And we were both in this zone where we were kind of wounded and needed a thing. And we went to this movie trivia night and immediately started flexing.
How'd you do? You did pretty good?
We did pretty good. We came halfway through and we started placing. So then we went every week, and for a year and a half of our lives, everything was centered around our emotional worth was tied to going to this movie trivia night until we became the Cobra Kai or whatever. We started out as the underdogs, and then we became the scary guys that everyone else was like, oh, God, they always
Give
went.
him a sample.
I don't.
You don't have a sample question?
I don't write the questions.
Okay.
I just announce.
So we stopped going because we felt like we've become our enemies, and we wanted still to have a structure to hang out, so we started doing the podcast.
But you don't live in LA, right?
I don't. I live in New York.
See?
Well,
Otherwise,
sometimes we're in New York.
Sometimes we are in New York. That's true.
Yeah.
Does he just, so on set, is it movies all day long?
I reference a lot of things.
Yeah, we do. I mean, it's weird that we have a lot of the same frames of reference that because there's 18 years between us or something. But when Griffin was a kid, your parents only allowed you to watch stuff that was that had been pre-approved by them.
Right.
That
right. They were so overprotective that I mostly watched the things that they knew from when they were growing up.
Yeah.
And Peter, because the UK, they got American shows later.
Right.
We both met in the middle. He was watching. We were both watching the same things.
Yeah. Like obscure Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the new Shmoo.
Right.
Yeah. Was quite a sort of formative thing.
We
for
do
me,
a lot of that on set. We're in the mode where you're leaning against a wall and trying to conserve energy and breathe and not let the suit overtake you. And Peter just turns to me and goes, "Do you remember Hong Kong Phooey's catchphrase?"
Yeah, that's a good question.
Do you remember this? It's insane.
What is it?
No.
Did you know it when you asked?
Of course I did.
What was it?
Yeah. It was fan-rific.
Fan-rific. They were supposed to do a movie. They were supposed to do a...
Eddie Murphy was supposed to be.
Yeah, Alcon was going to do it, I remember, for a long time. And then
but we would always just be talking about, do you remember that one that wouldn't air very often?
Yeah.
You know, there were so many
while
that
you're
were
dealing with the pain and the suits.
Right. That was the thing that we
did.
sort of relate to.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we do a thing on the podcast that is it came out of my father is a big sports fan.
Okay.
And so he loves sports scores. He wanted to be like a sports broadcaster. My brother's a giant sports freak. He was the second child. And my dad really wanted me to get into sports, and I didn't connect with it. And every day my brother and my father had so much fun in the morning, like looking over the sports scores and saying all these numbers that meant nothing to me. So I formed this tradition with my father around looking at the box office top 10 every Monday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where it was the same kind of thing. He would wake me up and he would cover his hand and go from 10 to 1. And I was trying to guess. And so I emotionally remember every single top 10 since like 1996. So we do this thing on the podcast where, like, I don't remember everything perfectly, but I can place sort of in the time and go, okay, I was in this grade, it was this time of year.
You're good with years?
Season.
You're good with dates?
Yeah, which I'm not otherwise in my life. It's the box office thing is so specific because that was my relationship with my father.
I'm going to DM you. I'm going to DM him the free-for-all and see how he does.
Please, yeah. Because we end every episode with whatever movie we talk about. David pulls up the top 5 from Box Office Mojo, and I have to guess them. Okay. And to some capacity, whether it's the movie or the number, sometimes I know both. Yeah. Sometimes he gives me hints. Sometimes I just remember. I know these 3 movies came out the same weekend.
It's crazy.
I know that toppled this. You know.
Yeah. The last thing I want to ask you guys before we leave here too is because of streaming and Peter, you've done a lot of work in film and you've worked a lot in television.
More TV.
More TV.
Yeah,
so because we're in a time now where streaming, I believe, and you guys can disagree with me if you think, I think that actors have a lot more opportunities to work on characters with these live streaming because it's not as much. Network TV, I always felt, was harder to develop characters in the way that live streaming does. Look at Game of Thrones or any of these like Star Wars, by the way, is doing the Mandalorian, which is going to have like 9 episodes of just being able to tell a 9-hour movie. Do you have more fun now because of the streaming platform, Amazon? Do you feel a little more creative freedom inside of streaming platform, or do you prefer movies still, or is it just depends on what comes your way?
I don't know really if there's that much of if it makes that much of a difference that the tick is. I guess we do feel like we're not constrained by like network rules, which really can destroy they're designed to destroy things really rather than create things. But I think that it's the show is the show. It's like it's not. I was thinking as you were talking. Because your question went on for ages.
You got lost.
That's what I do here.
I was thinking that of that thing of like network the streaming TV allows TV to have this sort of mood of movies from the 70s where the pace was like kind of. You could just stay and as the characters marinating before your eyes, you know, and like you can, like films like The Conversation, you know, it's like you could, I don't know, it's sort of unusual now, but like that seems to be the
movies feel more rushed now, and TV spends more time on little character.
But I think our thing didn't. I mean, ours is such a fast-paced show, isn't it?
I mean, what I think the difference is, and I think it has affected even network and cable TV too, because they just know that people will ultimately end up watching these things on streaming services. The thing that changes is the way you write the characters, because you write the show with the presumption that people will watch every episode. So like the last 2 versions of The Tick, it's like, here's a Saturday morning cartoon show. You don't know what order they're going to air them in, when they'll replay them. The Warburton show, pointedly, the episode they wrote as the second episode ended up being the last one broadcast. You know? So you can't have the characters grow or change too much because they wanted to have the flexibility of this can air anytime, any day, and people will get it on its own. And now people watch an entire series. You don't just pick it up if it's on in the same kind of way. So I think there's that sense of freedom of we know we can have the characters grow a little bit, you know, or actually have the effects of one episode carry into the next because people won't miss, you know, they're not going to pick and choose in the same kind of way.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here today, guys. Once again, to let everybody know, The Tick Season 2 premieres on Amazon Prime on April 5th. Sorry, April 5th. Peter, Griffin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm going to shoot you over that link. I want to see how you would do, for sure.
Please do. I would love to do it, yeah.
All right, guys, so thank you for joining us on this week's, on Monday here at Collider Live. We'll be back tomorrow. I was like ready to wrap up the whole week already. Like I said, I have 2 kids. Guys, thank you so much. Head on over to theschmodownlive.com. 855 people so far in Chicago. Let's get it to 900. We will see you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Collider Live.